Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversation of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and today, once again, Professor R2 is going to be traveling, and sitting in for the professor is Istophobos, who was kind enough to jump in here and hang out with me. How's it going, Istophobos?
It's going really well, and happy New Year to everybody in the chat. It's always an honor to step in when you need panel members. So thank you for inviting me.
No, yeah, you're like the Joan Rivers of this show.
I'm not. I've had no plastic surgery in my entire life. I just want to say
Minus the plastic surgery. That's
yeah,
a deep cut. Probably like, younger people are like, what is that? But
yeah.
yeah,
Well, they're like, who is that?
back in the day when the Tonight Show was hosted by Johnny Carson, and when he wouldn't show up or he had something going on, Joan Rivers would often take his place. Until one day she went and she did her own show, and then he got annoyed, and I think never wanted to talk to her again. But he was that kind of guy, apparently. Anyhow,
Look at
uh,
Mary White just sent in a super chat that made me laugh.
let me look at it. Let me see what the super chat is. We had a really fun stream now.
Yeah, hi Mary. Always good to see you, and hey to everybody else out there as well.
So we have, yeah, I see it. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna now show everybody this wonderful super chat. Sean, you didn't get it? Okay, hold on one second, Sean.
Yeah, I think I can send him a link if you got it.
Did you say you got it?
No. I'm asking you.
Okay, one second. I have to multitasking here. So first of all, let me just I have to copy manage participants, copy invite. Sean, I'm sending you a message now again. Tell me if you got it.
It'll be good to apologize to him in person tonight.
It would be good. Yeah, I just sent you one, Sean. And then so we're gonna show now what Mary White sent us as a super chat. Give me 1 second. And yeah, thank you to everybody that's hanging out with us, and happy new year to everybody. So presentation. Happy New Year to my favorite not Star Wars sock puppet and chain smoking teddy bear. Well, thank you very much, Mary White. Happy New Year to you too, and Happy New Year to everybody that's hanging out with us here, whether it's on YouTube or Rumble. Rumble is our headquarters for this show, and we're always appreciative of the crowd that we have over there that watches our streams. So thank you very much for that, and yeah, also the people on YouTube. It's nice that we're able to be in two places at once through our home base here at Rumble.
I do want to add it's chain smoking Teddy Polar Bear, but yes.
You know what, Sean? I'm going to try to send you an email. Let me see if I can find your email in my email, because I actually did send you a thing. Let's see, Sean. Yep, Sean Crummel. I have an email. I just sent you an email with the link, and hopefully that'll solve all of our problems.
Yeah, Mr. Brown can't get any of my links when I DM him on Twitter. Some people do, some people don't. It's such a mess.
The thing is that a lot of the stuff that Elon Musk rolled out when it came to Twitter, he's done a lot of things that I think are good, but in the kind of pros and cons, the one thing that I feel has been really messed up, especially in the past month or so, maybe more, is the chat. Whatever he changed with the DMs, until now, I haven't seen the benefit of it. It's just been a headache. People don't get messages. Everything just seems all over the place. And I have to wonder what was the big benefit of switching from this to that? I assume there was a reason for it. I just don't really know what the reason was.
Oh,
And
I do.
Is it something with encryption? What is it?
Yes, he wanted to. He needed in order to further his big plans of making X a place where you do banking and all your other important communications. He needed to roll out encryption, and in order to do that, you know, I don't see why you couldn't just keep a copy of the old chat and duplicate the channels. But whatever he did, or whatever they did, it was slightly ill conceived and still very buggy. And they still haven't fixed it. It's been over a month.
Does it have anything to do with him not wanting you to go to other platforms? Do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah, it's not like he doesn't want you to leave. He just wants you to not go anywhere. Like, yeah, he wants to make X the everything platform, so you never have a reason to leave. It's the same difference, but I don't think he's jealous of other stream. He just wants to be able to do everything, so you never have to go anywhere else. It's the same difference. I don't know why I'm hung up on that. But yeah, he wants to do banking. Yeah, because I don't see that going wrong, right?
Yeah,
And it's just been.
I never underestimate him, but I don't think he did too well with the DMs. So I don't know if going straight to banking now is a good idea either.
No, absolutely not. And the thing that I love is I can look at some troll account and see they're coming from Nigeria. What I want to be able to do is block every account from a specific geographic region. That would drastically improve my Twitter experience.
Lately, mine's just been full of like comic book art and hot chicks, like drawings and stuff. And I don't know what algorithm I fell into, but I'm not really complaining.
Did you do a search for Sydney Sweeney or Jean Grey X-Men even a single time?
I might have seen like that they added Rogue to that game and clicked on an image, and now all I see is hot comic book chicks.
Yeah, it only takes once. I clicked on one of those clickbait YouTube things, and now all I get is stories like her teenage father tried to trick her into giving up her life savings, and the evil stepmother was helping him, but she didn't fall for it first. Either that or watch Pam Bondi destroy a judge in a completely fictional story where they try to really hide the fact that it's fictional.
I get a lot of like, I must have clicked on one of them or something, but it's like men are walking away and feminists are being destroyed by it. And that's just all the recommendations now.
Yeah. For mine, in case I wasn't clear, AI slop. That's what I'm getting.
I knew what you meant because I've accidentally clicked on those here and there.
Yeah, a button that would say no AI accounts, that would be sweet. So I can basically, block a continent and block AI. I would love that.
There's so much that AI annoys me. Even when you look on Twitter, so many of the responses are AI, and I can usually spot them within a few seconds. It's like there's some like, for lack of a better term, there's like a jerk off way in which they respond that can only be AI, meaning that there's something about it that seems like a real person wouldn't say it, even though like it's not necessarily what they're saying is wrong or like not acceptable grammatically. It just doesn't sound like a human being that's kind of in a hurry dropping a few sentences would sound like that. There's something about it that like it annoys me. It insults my intelligence that they couldn't even construct a stupid two-sentence thing by themselves, and they needed the AI to write their stupid thing for them because they don't have enough IQ, like they don't have enough brain cells in their head to construct a sentence.
And you're like, this is spelled way too perfectly.
Well, AI always uses 5 or 6 words when 1 or 2 will do. And they always talk around the point instead of getting to the point. There's this annoying lack of specificity whenever they use AI. And, our brains are great at recognizing patterns, especially related to other humans, because our lives depended on being able to recognize, our tribe back in the day. So,
but the new generation just loves being stupid and doing this. You know what I mean? There's like young people, they just want to copy and paste. It's so dumb. They're all their brain cells are dying. And the thing that I don't like is like a lot of times on Twitter, you have somebody that wrote something. So then you have a response from somebody that's like explaining to you what the person said in his tweet. Like it's an AI that basically somebody took AI, got him to explain what that tweet means, copied and pasted, And then I got like an analysis, like a Captain Obvious type of analysis. It's like, I read the tweet. I know what the fucking guy said. I don't need your additional quote unquote 2 cents, which a lot of these people just want to get paid, I guess, for impressions from Twitter. So you see more and more of these. And like, if I was Elon Musk, I would do something to crack down on this, because the whole idea is you want to be talking to people. You don't want them to just like copy shit and just reinterpret whatever you just read through AI. It just clutters the whole thing and puts so much crap in there. And I really wish there was something he could do to minimize that, but that doesn't seem to be happening at all.
Yeah,
And then
well,
when it comes to YouTube, it's just like so many of these videos with the stupid narration and the, what were you going to say, Ista?
no, I think I just boomered on it. It's not only annoying, but it's hard to distinguish what a bot is and what somebody just copying pasting AI. Also, so you don't even know if you're talking to a real person, whether or not
Yeah.
they're using AI.
The patterns makes me think of like Data from Star Trek when he can't use conjunctions or whatever. And then people not being able to think for themselves just furthers my belief that we're becoming more machine than men anymore.
Yeah, and he can't even get the chat to work right, so I don't expect any advanced features to be working well right off the bat.
There was something today that annoyed me. I don't know why this annoyed me so much. I went through some strange rabbit hole that I was looking at some shows from the 80s, and then there was something that like it came up and it said that the guy that played like the young brother in Family Ties, that he like there was sort of a thumbnail that you click on it and it was going to tell you something really bad about him. I think it was him or maybe some other actor. I don't know what. I clicked on it, and the lady there's a lady that's talking there. This time it wasn't AI. It's just a lady sitting there and talking and explaining that implying that they're gonna reveal that he was involved in serving grape juice to ladies. So I sit there and I watch it, and then, after maybe 2, 3 minutes of her talking, she's like, "Yeah, no, he really wasn't. He never did that." And I'm like, "Why did I click on your video then? I clicked on your video because you were going to reveal that he did the worst things. But then when it came to the time to reveal, she said like, oh, he actually didn't do bad things." Like it was, I can't explain it to you. It is the most annoying thing. There was another one that I got that they're like, it was something about Michael J. Fox. I was looking at shows in the 80s, so it was something about Family Ties, and it's like, click here to find out, or like a YouTube something like a video. Click here to find out about the drama that happened behind the scenes on Family Ties, and I'm like, all right, I kind of grew up watching Family Ties. I never knew there was such drama. I actually thought that they all were on good terms. Michael J. Fox is great. Somehow, like the thumbnail, I don't know what it suggests. Maybe they didn't like him. Maybe he did something bad. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I click on it. The lady talks for like, I think this was an AI. Somebody talks for like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and at the end they're like, well, you probably want to know about the drama that happened behind the scenes. And I can't believe I even listened to this AI until this moment. And I'm just out of sheer curiosity. I'm like, yes, what's the drama behind the scenes? So they're like, well, there was no drama behind the scenes. Like twice in the same day. You click on the thumbnail, it tells you what it's going to tell you, and at the end the person addresses the thing on the thumbnail but tells you that it never happened.
Well, it's clickbait. It's not illegal or defamatory to imply something, but they can't out and out say it. And if they're lying, they have to correct yourself. So they want their cake and eat it too. They
stole minutes from me. They stole minutes of me viewing. They said that they would tell me something. Them putting a thumbnail and saying that you're going to see something if you click their video, and then reaching like 3-4 minutes into it and saying, well, we're not really going to talk about that because that never happened, is the shittiest thing that they can do. Sorry, Sean. I don't care if it's a robot or if it's a real person. Whoever did that, I can't stand it.
They should at least put a thank you message at the end. Thanks for watching, sucker.
So, yeah, that really annoyed me, that whole situation. I will say, though, that when I went down this rabbit hole, I will say one thing, is that Family Ties kind of fascinates me. You know why?
Its historical significance and the actors that went on to do. I don't know why. I'm just shooting in the dark.
Well, it was an interesting theory, but let's see. Let's see if I can find this thing.
Tracy Pollan, Michael Pollan's sister. That's why. I don't know.
Tracy Pollan is Michael Pollan's sister. Who's Michael Pollan?
Michael Pollan is an author. He writes books about food that are fairly interesting. Actually, he was.
I didn't know that, but
Yeah. God, she was so gorgeous back in the day.
I kind of liked Courtney Cox better than her. I think
she was gorgeous too, and so was so was Justine Bateman. Man, they were all just
yeah.
beautiful.
No, Justine Bateman was a very pretty young lady. I mean, I know I was,
Yeah, and we love her around here because she is active on Twitter. She is incredibly blessed with common sense, and she's spunky. She's feisty. She's not afraid to.
Yeah, no, I like her too. I know exactly what you mean. She's not afraid. She's sitting around hanging out with like Chris Gore and talking to him. She's not one of those snooty people. She has her opinions. She doesn't, she's not the typical Hollywood person. Maybe because she's not overly active in Hollywood doing like a million things. She's not in a million movies. So maybe it allows her to kind of do whatever she wants. But whatever the reasons are, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a very refreshing that it's not just like, tied to the Hollywood narrative. And I
Yeah,
do
and she
appreciate that.
doesn't suck up. And
No.
Elizabeth Quench mentioned something really great too. Is that it's a show that glorified the parents, the family, that celebrated good parenting.
Well, there's a few things that are interesting that happened with the show, and I just like found it fascinating. First of all, the guy that thought of this, he himself was more of like a liberal, flower child, whatever you want to call it, and he thought to himself, wouldn't it be interesting if there was a show where the parents were more like liberals, but one of their kids would be like more Republican, conservative, things like that, and how would that play out? And also like the two other kids. Now, when he conceived this, I am 100% sure that he didn't necessarily know that the character of Alex would be so dominant. I would even go as far as saying that I think that the show was really supposed to come from the angle of the parents. I feel like initially Meredith Baxter Burney and Michael Gross that played the parents, I think that was supposed to be like the main focus of the show, whereas the kids are there and doing whatever they do, but they're not necessarily the focus of the show, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, that's absolutely the case. In fact, Meredith Baxter Burney had given interviews to the fact that she thought she was the star. She was certainly the biggest name at the time.
Right.
Because she had done the equivalent of like a crap ton of Lifetime movies and other stuff. And, I think women.
She had the most credentials. She's the first
Yeah.
name. She's, I think, the first name that you see when the credits start because she was the only actress with real credentials and a resume. And yeah, I think that she thought that this was more about the parents. I think that the guy that created it thought it was more about the parents. It was all about the parents. And from their perspective, there's one thing that they didn't count on is that like Michael J. Fox was so well liked in the role. And the funny thing is that I also seem to think, I'm not saying it was sinister like today, but I think that he was kind of supposed to look like a bit of he's like, I don't know, like a bit of a jackass with his Republican conservatism.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Somehow he became the character that everybody liked.
Because he was funny. The actor has amazing charisma, and he was the funniest one on the whole show.
Right. And then it even reached a point where I guess like Ronald Reagan liked the show and would watch it. And there's like a picture somewhere with like Ronald Reagan like meeting like, Michael J. Fox. I guess what I'm trying to say, he wanted a show about like parents that are liberals and they're the focus. At the end, it turned out that they're. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It wasn't supposed to be that the kid that's the Republican becomes the star of it and everybody likes him and the president wants to meet him. I have a feeling that is not what the guy intended.
No, that's beautiful. In fact, I'll throw it out to the chat. Can you think of a show that initially started centered around one person, but another character became so popular, the entire show moved its tone?
Fonzie, Happy Days.
Yeah, Lost in Space. Dr. Smith was supposed to be a guest star for a couple of episodes.
Same with Family Matters, with Urkel. Urkel was
Yeah,
supposed to be
yep.
some that show. Like initially, that first season was just like kind of so run of the mill. I don't even think it was doing so well. And then one day they introduced that, like Steve Urkel, and suddenly they're like, okay, this is it. We need more Steve Urkel. It became like the Steve Urkel show. It's funny because he's not actually a member of that family. It's Family Matters. He's the neighbor. He
Yeah.
was not. He wasn't even supposed to be that big. But it's the
Oh,
same also with Happy Days. Happy Days was
yeah.
supposed to be about the Cunninghams. Fonzie, ran away with it, and Fonzie was so popular they thought of changing the name to Fonzie's Happy Days, but he actually he pushed back and said that he didn't feel comfortable with that, and he really insisted that they don't do that to the other actors. But that's how much, like, initially they didn't think of Fonzie at all, and how much he became the star of it.
That was a good decision, though. Charlie's Angels was originally supposed to be the star vehicle for Kate Jackson, but Farrah Fawcett, she exploded in popularity and took off.
Yeah, I mean, Charmed was supposed to be, the main star was Shannon Doherty, but once they brought in, what's her face, Alyssa
Alyssa
Milano,
Milano.
yeah, it caused issues there. This is when Alyssa Milano was, pleasant-looking young lady.
Yeah.
Today she's like just some weirdo. I can't think of another kind of Hollywood actress, lady, whatever, that really I don't know what word I'm looking for, but really spoiled, ruined herself. I don't really know what to say. Beyond the fact that obviously she's older now. I don't know what she looks like now. I don't think she looks that great. But beyond that, that happens with aging. So I'm not criticizing that. But her behavior is so insufferable. She became such an insufferable person. When you see these kind of videos, the things when she was young, she seemed very likable. She seemed like a very likable young lady.
Yeah, very down to earth. How about intentional uglification?
Whatever it is, it's like, she I always think this, and it's probably not appropriate to say it, but I say inappropriate things, so I guess I can say this. Sometimes these ladies, they have this like life as a celebrity, as this kind of female sex symbol. She made her entire fortune off guys that are buying, into whatever her thing is. That's how Alyssa Milano has all her money. If she looked like, some miserable whatever, she didn't look great, as she was in Hollywood doing whatever she did in all those years, she wouldn't be where she's at today. But then I think that as the, well dried up, less roles, she's not that like, sex symbol anymore. She's getting older. She converted from being like, sex symbol to the Me Too lady. And it's such a strange shift. It's such a strange shift from one to another. It's just like, the reason why it's a strange shift is because nobody forced you to do these kind of calendars and commercials that you're sexy. You knew exactly what you were doing. You collected all the checks. There were a lot of checks, and she collected all of them, knowing exactly what it is that men like about her and all that stuff. And then one day she got up, put on a pair of like eyeglasses, put her hair up in like some like ponytail, and it's like, oh, like all these terrible men, what have they done? It's like, lady, shut up.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson did that, and so did Jennifer Connelly quite recently. But their entire early careers were based on their sex appeal. And yes, they had no problem cashing the checks, and they should be grateful to the fans that gave them their careers instead of spiteful toward them.
Right, you have contempt for
nowadays.
guys. That's the only reason you have money. You'd be, what would you even be doing now? You know what I mean?
Making fries.
Right. If you didn't have guys that like, constantly thought, and I will say, even if you look at those kind of older stuff she was in, she did look nice. She did back in the day, like she did, look nice. And I think that's probably the reason why Shannon Doherty left that show, because she was always known, she's not here anymore. And I actually liked Shannon Doherty, but I know she was considered a bit difficult. Initially on that show, on Charmed, they had a different actress playing the third sister. Do you remember this?
Vaguely. I'm not a Charmed expert.
Okay, so I'll tell you what happened. So listen, I don't give a shit about Charmed either. The only thing is
oh
that
no, tell us more, Price.
okay, so the thing I don't give a shit about
He's
Charmed. I
got a
will say
poster of each individual character on the wall behind him.
I
He
will
just
say
can't see
this:
it.
it was a really dumb and stupid show, but the ladies did look rather nice. You know, back in the day, it
Oh
was like
yeah.
those. It's like there's people that watch Baywatch and don't know what even happens on that show, and I think Charmed is one of those. Like you put it on at a low volume in the background, and there were some ladies walking around. That's what the show meant to me. I don't know what it meant to other people, but in any case, initially, Aaron Spelling filmed a pilot, and the first episode, the pilot, whatever it is, it had Shannon Doherty. It had some other actress, the one that stayed. I don't remember her name, like the second one. And then the third one was not Alyssa Milano. And then he looked at the pilot and he said, well, you know, I'm sure that somebody is going to come out and say something that this isn't what he said. They're going to say something that, sounds more professional. But if I had to gamble, if I was a betting man, I think Aaron Spelling said, I think that third one isn't hot enough. And then he said, "What can we do about this?" And they said, like, "It's too late. We already filmed it." He's like, "No, it's never too late. Can we just like film the scenes? What can we do? We need a hotter woman." And somebody said, "What about Alyssa Milano?" And then he's like, "Yeah, that sounds good. She can be the third one." And then that's how Alyssa Milano became the third one. But the problem is that I guess when Shannon Doherty signed on board, she didn't anticipate that Alyssa Milano would be there. And in spite of what women always say that they're supposedly very supportive of each other, hot women don't like it when there's other hot women, or if there's a woman that thinks that maybe the other woman is hotter than her, then there's trouble. And I think that this question of who was hotter, this has really caused a lot of problems in that series, which is why, after not too many seasons, I don't know how long she was there, Shannon Doherty bowed out because
Oh, yeah.
the
They
yeah.
were going online to GeoCities or whatever and looking up all the who's the hottest charm sister. Lori Rom was the actress that she replaced that was the third sister in the unaired pilot.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand what happened, but like Shannon Doherty thought there's nobody, I'm undeniably the hottest one out of the three. And suddenly they brought Alyssa Milano and she really got annoyed with it. Now, nobody's going to admit this. Everybody's going to give you a different reason and all this other stuff. They say maybe she had a big ego. I think that probably Alyssa Milano didn't have a small ego either. I assume that like the two of them together, like I said, I feel even guys, I'll tell you this, even guys don't always support each other. Meaning, you'll see guys that also have egos and also like take the piss out of each other and all that shit. You'll see that kind of thing. But I do feel like at the end that guys there is a little more camaraderie. Also sometimes guys maybe there's a bit of ego back and forth, but at the end if there's a common goal, you kind of learn to put things aside and somehow I think that men, if there's a goal, often just put that aside and end up, doing whatever they need to do. You have all these rock bands where these people hated each other, but they'll still go on and do their performance, and there's still a camaraderie even amidst the competition or whatever you want to call it. With women, forget about it.
Yeah, boys are trained to work together from a young age, like sports and stuff. Men have to come together to create a civilization. Hey, I sent you a couple of pictures of her in your DMs just in case you're interested. The one she replaced was not ugly, man. I gotta say, she's pretty cute
Six
too.
loves hot women. Well, that's good to know, Six.
Wow.
Let me see for a second what you sent me. You send me a picture of hot women? Is that what you said?
Lori Rom, the actress that Alyssa Milano replaced. She was the third sister in the unaired pilot.
I see. Listen, I didn't think that like you'd look at her and she'd be like horrendous, but I guess, I still stand by what I said.
Yeah. I think everybody knows that there is an unspoken rivalry amongst women who are trying to maneuver to be the alpha, and they express their differences in much different ways than men do.
So the one on the left was the one that was replaced by by Alyssa Milano. She's not a bad looking lady, but I do think that Alyssa Milano, at that point in time.
Yeah, plus she had the pedigree, right? She was in that other show.
Right, she was also in Who's the Boss.
recognized.
She had
Yeah.
Teen Idols and all this stuff. Like, it was a much bigger name to bring to the show. And
Absolutely.
I think that I don't know if the show would have taken off in the same way without Alyssa Milano as the third sister at that time. I mean, that's already like you're selling people between Shannon Doherty that people were familiar with and Alyssa Milano. That was enough to get the viewers. And like I said, I am not the only man. I remember this years ago. This is a few decades ago. I was at a friend's house, and I think that was maybe the first time I had seen Charm, or I don't even know. So he had the show on the background, and I see them, and I asked him, "What are you watching?" And he said, "Charmed." And I said, and the volume was off, and I said, what's it about?" And he said, "I have no idea." And
Yeah.
I said, "Do you watch this regularly?" And he said, "Yep." Like, this is not like I'm not making this up. This actually happened to me. The guy couldn't tell you what happens on the show. He couldn't care less. He just like, he knew
Yeah.
that he liked seeing those ladies on the screen in the background. And I said, "Oh, let me see." Like I tried to watch it myself, and then I said, "Okay, I get it. I get it."
Hollywood, if that's the way to do lesbian space witches, man. They knew what they were doing back then. If they had pulled that off, it would have been an entirely different acolyte.
Right, and it's the same thing with, like, Baywatch. I'm telling you, there's people that have never even listened to one line of dialogue from that show. They put it on, there's the ladies running around. There were the years like Pamela Anderson in the bathing suit, just, like, slow motion running around, bopping up and down, and people are like, "Yeah, great." From time to time, you see in the background Hasselhoff is saving somebody. Nobody really cares.
I care. That show is amazing.
Nobody cares. So yeah, I understand what happened to Aaron Spelling, and he was a very practical guy, and he knew how to sell. And I think that he made the right decision at that time.
I think some
Six
people
says,
just have a face for it, though. Like this girl, I don't see her being a star. The other one,
Show him the other picture I sent you.
"Okay, I'll send it. I'll show it in a second, but I want to answer six. Six, she says, "Where's Professor? Professor is traveling. He's traveling. He's not home, and he's traveling with his family for a few weeks, and that's
unacceptable.
no, it's not." And Ista is nice enough to sit in, and Sean making his guest appearance, which is always appreciated as well.
His
And
Kramer
then,
appearance.
what'd you say?
His Kramer appearance. He just shows up in your apartment.
You know what? We're always happy. So
He's sliding in through the door. What's up?
So this is listen. She's not like she doesn't look bad. Obviously, they wouldn't have cast a lady that looks terrible or anything.
Yeah.
But I obviously, like you said, Alyssa Milano had a lot more recognition. She was the
Yeah.
better choice, so I can understand why he did it.
Yeah, she's on par with the other sister. Honestly, Milano is the only one I ever even noticed in that whole show.
Yeah. And then they had another. Who did they Rose McGowan? Who did
Yes, the fourth. Yeah, they brought her in.
Also a big Me Too proponent.
Yeah, although to her credit and her, she was one of the first people to speak out about terrible things that were going on. But she also dated Marilyn Manson for like 5 years while he abused allegedly the crap out of her.
I have no idea what people did or not, and we'll always be very careful when discussing such matters. But I don't know. I don't know. These ladies were very much in the mix with a lot of situations, and that they were the ones that became like the spokespeople always seemed strange to me. Like, Alyssa Milano would go around like, she there were certain features that she had that she liked to showcase. And
was a fan of the sports bra, hey.
Yeah, I mean, she was so happy to showcase them. She'd do commercials, she'd do like calendars, who knows what, tapes, videotapes, and then at the end, like one day she got up and she hated everybody. But
yes,
yeah.
Embrace of the Vampire is one of the best movies ever.
I need to rewind to know what you're talking about. I effing love Charmed. I have them all on DVD. Well, that's good to know. I was saying that I'm rather fond of it myself.
Now, I did live in San Francisco. I was fascinated with how they could afford their house, but just the architecture. I did like The fact that it was on location, and they did some, I don't think it was all. I don't know if they shot it in a studio, but they did have location shots. I did love when they would tour you around the city because I loved that city back then. It has become a disaster, demilitarized. It's like Bosnia and Herzegovina in the 90s now, but it was a great city.
Well, it says that she was great in Commando. She
Oh,
was great in Commando.
yeah, she
She
was the
was great.
daughter.
She was a good child actor. Just so you know, I'll tell you this. I have something called Samsung, TV, which I don't even care about, but when I turn on my TV, it automatically shows me that. So I sometimes flip through the channel because I'm just curious what their channels are, which usually just like old reruns. They have like dedicated channels for reruns. So somehow I landed on Who's the Boss, and I hadn't watched Who's the Boss like in decades. And I just sat there and watched a bit of it. And you know what? It was, first of all, some of these older sitcoms that you may like dismiss and think, oh, they're cheesy and stupid and dumb. I actually think that a lot of work went into those sitcoms. Like, I feel like the quality of the acting and of the production and what they did there and the writing was a whole lot better there than a lot of stuff that I see today. And I was really impressed. And yeah, even as a young lady, uh, Alyssa Milano was really good on that show. She was so likable. Like she had like this good vibe and was very likable. And I don't know how she became this very like bitter and disgruntled woman.
A shout out for the work, dude. Those were massive amounts of work, and they were shooting on a schedule that was extremely tight. And they always and they were doing 22, 26 episodes a year, and they managed to pull it off. The crew, everybody, other countries would send people over to Hollywood to learn how they were able to make sitcoms with the quality of lighting and acting on the schedule they did. Paul Chatto mentioned one time he even went down to Hollywood to kind of learn some of the secrets that they use.
I'm going to tell you this, that when I was going through my rabbit hole and I kind of looked into stuff, I saw different documentaries and different things like that. You see a show like, I didn't watch one about Who's the Boss, but I can tell you that I saw something because I was looking at those weird clickbait videos. So I ended up seeing one about Family Ties that was interesting. You see the behind the scenes of how much work that went into it. 4 days they're rehearsing, but like the executive producer, the main guy, along with writers, are sitting there after every scene. They're doing like the run through. They're doing all this stuff every week, a different episode. And when something's not working, they pull everybody aside. They start rewriting the scene. They work with the actors, and then on the final day, after they can kind of feel what works and what doesn't, on the final day, like on a Friday night or whatever it is, they actually have the 300 people for a live studio audience, and their performance is in front of a real studio audience. We used to hear that and kind of chuckle, oh, it's filmed in front of a live studio audience. You know what? It's really important to do that because they could tell what was working and what wasn't. They could tell what was funny and what wasn't. And the way they worked was so interactive with so many episodes a year that they keep just thinking, how do we improve? This works. So let's continue this idea because this is working. Let's try to play with this a little more. It's the kind of hands-on approach that you don't see today. Today, you don't have a lot of stuff filmed in front of audiences. That's why all these sitcoms suck now. They don't have the experience of even trying to make anybody laugh, let alone in our politically correct environment. Nobody even wants to try to make you laugh, but they don't even know what's working and what's not, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, and the one part, thousands of shows were altered at the last minute. It was the live dress rehearsal in front of the studio audience. That was their last chance to reconfigure. And
Right.
I've heard stories many a times when they did the final rehearsal, dress rehearsal run through, something wasn't working, so they make change and then they go live, they film it, and it works because they get that immediate feedback. That is a very interesting observation.
Pure Blood Base Berserker says, just watch Big Bang Theory without laughs. I'll tell you this. I think that sometimes when you watch a movie, like this year, I went to see Naked Gun, and it wasn't a great movie. It was kind of mid. It was not on the level of the original Naked Gun movies, but there was still a good feeling that I sat in a full theater, and there were people at least kind of chuckling there's a good feeling when you watch with a lot of people in a full house watching something, and occasionally like a joke lands and some people laughing. It's an overall fun experience. And I think that doing the whole live studio audience, maybe the crowd is laughing more than you would laugh normally. And maybe it's kind of strange when you think about it that you'd watch a show and you'd hear like the audience laughing, but it's almost like you'd be watching a play with these people. It's very different. It's a very specific type of style, but I don't dismiss it. When I see the kind of crap that's being churned out today, and I look at some of those older sitcoms, I appreciate what they did a whole lot more. And I even don't mind the canned laughter, whatever you want to call it. It's not canned because they're actually there. A lot of times, if shows were funny, there were people laughing. I assume that in shows that weren't funny, they probably enhanced that laughter with phony laughter.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Laugh tracks do help make the show better, but they don't provide any real feedback. So that's the problem. It's artificial. It's only what they think's funny. The audience feedback is the single most important, I think, element of television that we've lost, and you're dead on with that.
Yeah, yeah, and at least some of those shows that we watch that there's an audience in the background that like they're really there and laughing. Things like, Family Ties was with an audience. There were a lot of shows, I think maybe Who's the Boss was. There were a lot of ones that did have it, and yeah, I mean Big Bang Theory, you can criticize it, and it's not necessarily the best show I've ever seen, but they did have a live studio audience. Same with, I believe, Two and a Half Men. By the way, another show that started off one way and became something else. This one always makes me laugh. You know what it is?
Um, Yellowstone, which became
No,
the
that
Beth
that kind
Dutton
of.
show.
I think that one just surprising that it succeeded. But let's see. I'll give people try to guess.
Do you have a genre or a time frame? You got
It's
to
a
give us.
comedy. It's an '80s comedy.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll help you out. So it's Webster.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, I'm about 90% sure of this, 95% sure that I'm right. Somebody can Google it. But basically, the two parents that you see here, these two, actors, they were signed to do a show. Okay, their show was supposed to be that they're a newlywed couple. They just got married, and the challenges of being married and some comedy or something like that. Now, what happened was, if I'm not mistaken, that on another channel you had Gary Coleman on Different Strokes. And I mean, I don't know how to say this without getting in trouble. I feel like some top executive said, "Hey, like why don't we have like a little funny black kid
You-
on our station?"
yeah.
Uh
I don't think he's their biological son. I'm
no,
looking
he's
at
not. That's okay. So what happened was somebody
Maybe.
I know how weird this sounds, but this would happen. I can't change it. So he said, "Why don't we have a little black kid?" And they said, "Well, we'll try to find you one." And then somebody said, "Hey, have you seen this kid? He's really funny." And then I guess this, president or whatever it is saw the kid. He's like, "Man, this kid's funny." So then he said, "Okay, well, let's sign him up." And then somebody said, "Okay, well, we'll sign him up. We'll work now for half a year. We'll develop a show." And he's like, "Nonsense. What shows do we have?" So they said, "Well, there's this show with this newlywed couple." And then he said, "Well, what if this newlywed couple adopted a little black kid?"
What
And
you talk
people
about, Price?
and then they told him, but the show has nothing to do with that. It's like two people that got married. They're not even talking about kids or anything. And then he said, "I don't give a shit. Sorry, Sean. Make this work. This is the new show. I don't get." They're like, "We're already like working on the thing. They're doing this or I don't give a shit. Make this work." And then they came up to these two guys, these two actors, and says, "Listen, there's been a there's I don't know why this is
Jeez, he's dying.
I know why it's funny, because it's awkward to say, but everybody knows it's exactly true and what happened.
They came up to these two actors and they said, "Hey, there's been some change. There's been a change of there's been a change of plans. You know how you thought you were on a sitcom where you're talking about your marriage or whatever it is?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're so excited to be doing this show. Well, we're going in a new direction." And then they like brought in Webster, and they're like, "Okay, so now this kid's your son." And I think that, like, rumor has it that initially they were really bitter I don't know if they were both bitter or what it is, and probably like I assume that they didn't suffer that they were getting paid and they did the show. Obviously, they didn't leave it, and they did like 5 or whatever seasons of Webster. But deep down inside, I feel like every day they thought to themselves, "We were supposed to be the stars of this show." And like the show is now not even called them. They're not even the main thing of the show. The show is called Webster. He's the main guy,
Yeah, I
Well,
think when they bought their third mansion with their residual checks, they got over it.
I like to think that you could do that whole reveal as like its own little comedy skit.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
hey, we're gonna
yeah.
add a change to it. Oh, you have a son now. Oh,
Somebody can
well,
read this. I haven't looked into this in years. I remember, reading about this like, probably 10, 15 years ago, but I recall that that's what happened. Somebody can check to see if that's correct. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that that's what happened. To be fair though, I have to say this, Emmanuel Lewis was really good on the show.
Yeah, there was a show about the making of a sitcom that's pretty exactly like this, except without the little cute kid. The show is called Episodes, and it's about two British writers that
I
come to
saw the series with
yeah,
Joey from Friends.
yeah, who's playing himself. I thought it was pretty funny, but that's exactly what happened. They're like, we're there's been a development. We're going in a different direction. The show was pretty funny, and the way everybody said, yes, yes, we love it. It's perfect. But
I
we're
rather like the
change
show. I agree with you.
yeah, we're gonna change everything about like the way they portrayed the Hollywood executives being so smarmy and always being positive when they're meaning the it was I found it pretty funny, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It was very funny,
Yeah, and
and
Alex Karras is he was a football player for God's sake. Like he's lucky to be on TV at all, but I'll tell you what, people they lived their entire lives very well from the residual check of like a single successful sitcom, man. You can't do that as much now because of streaming, but the amount of money those people got in perpetuity was extraordinary.
it was totally worth it for them. I understand they made it work, but I just think it's funny. I don't know why, and it's exactly like that show episodes. I agree with you. That show wasn't terrible. I mean, I
No, no, it
wouldn't
was
say that,
funny.
that it was consistently great every second, but there was something about it that was entertaining enough for me to watch all the episodes of it. I didn't completely hate it. So yeah, Alex Karras. Somebody can Google it. Am I right about this? Webster. Let's see, Webster TV series. I just want to see production history. Okay, let's look. I just want to show this, and then if I'm right, we'll move on. Okay. When Alice Karras and Susan Clark married in real life, they started their own production company, Georgian Bay Ltd. ABC approached the couple about a sitcom development deal, which resulted in a proposed romantic comedy series, Another Ball Game, to star Karras as an ex-NFL player who quickly found true love with the socialite consumer advocate Clark on a cruise. ABC picked it up for the fall 1983 schedule with Paramount, blah, 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 blah. After seeing Emmanuel Lewis in a Burger King commercial, ABC's programming chief, Lou Elric, wanted to give the actor his own series. At this time, Another Ball Game creator Stu Silver desired to develop an original show based on the lead characters, blah, 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 blah. And basically, the network felt the need to cast Lewis in a project quickly before he grew another inch.
Yeah.
Like child actor Gary Coleman, who was also small for his age. Lewis would end up 4'3". That's a strange reason. He was so small. I don't know what that was worrying. That I don't know why they were worried about that. Uh, Anyhow, at the end of the day, they couldn't secure him unless they for that season, unless they piggybacked off another show, and that's why. It says they like the idea of a sudden marriage and an instant adoption. I don't know that they really liked it. I read articles that they weren't so excited, but regardless, they said they were on board and they did it.
Yeah, very few actors like sharing the spotlight, so I guarantee you there were
No, I
some
mean
hard
they had a
feelings.
whole show that's called Another Ball Game that's about them. The two of them, they're the stars of the show. Ball Game is that he used to be a ball player and he's getting married now to a socialite. Nobody cared about like the instant adoption of that child. I think that, they had to make do with it. Basically, probably the
Yeah.
network said, "Hey, are you sure you like this show? You want to have a show on TV?" They're like, "Yep." They're like, "Well, here you go. This is either you do what we tell you, or maybe that show doesn't exist anymore." And they're like, "Well, maybe it's not such a bad idea."
Did you
And
know
then like
her
they said, "Great, they love it. They love the idea."
Did you know her character was based on a real life consumer advocate person named Clark, except he's a dude?
Interesting.
Yes.
That is very, very weird. Alex Karras played 12 years with the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. He was a pretty big name when he played
uh,
for Detroit.
well, he certainly suffered enough. I feel like I don't know how the Detroit Lions were during those days, but I feel like that's probably depressing. Anyhow, it's been a long time. I don't remember much of it, but I know that the dads used to be the leader of the home. Then they made dads all dumb like Family Guy and Simpsons. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you can also argue about that with Married with Children, but Married with Children was funny. Like, I liked Married with Children because it's not that they just made him like dumb. It's just like they gave a more realistic approach that like all these children and his wife are just like draining the life out of him, and he's just like depressed and has to put up with them. And I thought that that was kind of cool. I mean, it was a satirical show, and I thought that it did it fine, but I didn't need all the shows to be like that. And
Yeah, and Al Bundy was clearly the star of that show, even regardless of who else they brought on, and of course, his wife.
I mean, they were all. It was not like all the cast was great, but Al Bundy was the anchor of that show.
Yeah.
He was the star. You wanted to see Al Bundy. All the rest of the stuff going on around him, you already knew that those kids and the wife are going to annoy him all the time. But like, you liked seeing him put up with it and do his thing. And just Ed O'Neill was so funny as the character. His timing was really great, and
Yeah.
him always like, insulting people. I don't think that it was the same thing like making dads dumb, but in Homer they did see Al Bundy wasn't necessarily dumb. He was just a guy that like didn't have the best of luck in life and ended up in like a crappy situation. Whereas like Homer, they made him stupid.
Yeah, and I love Katie Seagal in that. She has shown herself to be a veritable powerhouse actress.
I
Subs
like Katie Seagal. I thought she was great in that, and I thought that she was, I also like Christina Applegate and David Faustino, whatever his name was. I thought they were good.
Yeah, they
Listen,
were.
Christina Applegate was a revelation. I mean,
Yeah.
she was hot.
Yeah, and Katie Seagal was terrifying in Sons of Anarchy. Like she really did an
Totally,
amazing
totally.
job on
She
that.
was good on
Yeah.
that show. But,
Yeah.
one of the only times I was happy to go to a Broadway play, and this is, already probably it could have been 20 years ago. I don't know what it was. Uh, I was studying somewhere, and we were given, I was part of some program. I studied film. One of the things that I don't know, we'd get like tickets for free to see Broadway shows sometimes, and everybody was really excited except for me because I even then didn't feel like going to watch them. But some professor came up to me and he was like, "Hey, I have some good news for you. I have like tickets to give you for a show." And I think it was his personal tickets. He's like, "I was supposed to see this. This is like front row seats. It's like on Broadway." And I'm thinking to myself, like, "Shit, why did he care? Like, why is he talking to me? I should have exited the class sooner, and he would have said this to somebody else, and then I would be off the hook. Like, I don't want this crap." And it's like, "You have to do it. You have to do it." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. What is it?" And he's like, "It's Christina Applegate. Like in her own show, she's going to be like singing and dancing, and I don't know what, like doing cabaret. I don't even know what it was." I'm like, "Christina Applegate from Married with
Hmm.
Children." He's like, "Yes, and you're sitting in the front row, like, you're gonna see her." I'm like, "Oh, okay, okay, I'll take these, tickets."
Yeah.
Then, like, I read, I don't know, in the papers, they're like, "We don't know if she's a good enough actress." Like, all the critics were, like, complaining about her. I'm like, "I don't give a shit. I went there. I think I think if I'm not mistaken, even then you could have like a drink. I think I drank some whiskey because you could drink before the thing. Sat in one of those front rows. She came out. She was wearing like sometimes skimpy clothing and like dancing and jumping around. And I said to myself, finally something good happened in this stupid Broadway.
Yeah, you're close enough that her boob sweat could get slung onto your face,
Finally
man.
something good on Broadway after all
Yeah.
these years of me suffering. Finally, like somebody was looking out for me.
That
Um,
thought that thought process made me laugh though, and
yeah.
internally, because you're like, why didn't I exit the class sooner? And I was like, it sounds like a Woody Allen movie
Eh,
monologue.
Yeah, is this the part of the show where I'm supposed to go, how did we get here?
I usually do that. And I'll tell you at the end when like she came out and the people were like giving her flowers, I was clapping. I don't care about screw those critics. This show was fantastic. It was such a great show. She really like she you could tell how seriously she took this whole thing and how much energy she put into it.
Well, I'm glad you got a good one. I never heard of her doing a Broadway show, but man, she did it like a sitcom, and she was
Was it
very
called like
funny.
Sweet Charity or some shit like that? Sorry, Sean. What's Sweet Charity? Well, let me look. Christina Applegate, Sweet Charity. Yep. Are you with me?
Yep.
Let me show you right now. Christina Applegate starred as the optimistic taxi dancer Charity Hope Valentine in the acclaimed 2005 Broadway revival, the musical Sweet Charity, a role that marked her Broadway debut and earned her critical praise. I thought they were all complaining. I don't remember that she was like so well liked then, but
Did
whatever.
you break her foot? Was that you? Were you responsible for that?
I was not responsible, but all I'll say is that I didn't mind seeing this on Broadway. So
I can imagine. Yeah.
let's like I think like the whole time she was like dancing and doing stuff whatever it was good, trust me when I tell you this, it was a good show, and you could tell that she really took it very seriously. It was very fun.
Yeah, she was in a sitcom where she played like a single mom or something. I don't know the details. I just remembered that she was pretty good in it.
I think she's a decent actress too. Like I thought she did great in that thing. I really was very happy with what I saw, and yeah. Anyhow, how did we get here?
I, I,
Speaking of Sweet Charity, Elon Musk says that he's backing, Donald Trump and all the Republicans in the midterms. Did you hear something like that? I saw that people were talking
yeah,
about that online. I mean, I did see that now, like Donald Trump went somewhere and like Elon Musk is in the audience, so they don't seem to be enemies anymore.
yeah. Who else is he going to back? The Democrats want to set him on fire, for God's sake. So
I mean, initially he said that he was going to try to start a new party, an independent, but I think that he dropped all of that, and I think it's good that he did because that usually doesn't lead to anything. So I think that if he made up with the people that he needed to make up with, and he's doing that, it's okay. I mean, I don't know. Not that I even know. It's like now it's just a situation of like lesser evils. But I feel like there's so much stuff that's happened over the past year that they keep uncovering and discovering and doing stuff, but nobody ever does anything. Like
yeah,
nobody that's responsible for doing something bad. Nothing ever happens. Nothing
no,
ever. There's like seems to be nothing going on with anybody. It's just we just keep seeing more bad and bad stuff. I think that this whole Minnesota thing, if something doesn't happen, I think it's going to be really, really an issue.
I
And also, I mean, again, it's not that I like to sit around and talk about her all day, but one has to wonder how all of this ties to people like Elon Omar and even Tim Waltz with all this crap. Like, what is even if let's say Tim Waltz is just stupid, and let's say he didn't do it in a sinister way, if he's that stupid that $18 billion disappeared, then I think that he probably shouldn't be the governor.
yeah, but I don't think there's a chance he couldn't know. I, I've had this feeling for a while now that my party, which I call the party of the moderate center common sense, it's not Democrats, not Republicans, the people who just want stuff to work right and be civil. even when we win, we lose. Like we uncover some corruption, but nobody gets punished. Um, we discover, see, that doesn't work. Well, it's Trump's fault. It's not because we're stupid. They have an excuse or whatever. It's like the common sense just never wins when it comes to this sort of thing. Do you know who okay, it sounds like a bad word, but it's not. She's a German YouTuber, Kunch Kitty.
Okay. What?
She live streamed New Year's Eve in Cologne, Germany to show everybody how safe it was to party with all the guests, involuntary guests to their country, and she ends up getting stoned, pelted by rocks, and beaten up.
I saw
see.
that.
Careful with the descriptions, though. We
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. Well, that's why I said uninvited guests, invited. I don't know.
Right. No. I understand what you meant.
Yeah.
You did it okay. I just didn't know if there was additional thing you were about to say.
Oh,
And
no. Well, I was going to say, instead of going out, maybe I was wrong about this. She starts making excuses for them. And I'm like, we can't even win when we win. And we being the people that just want common sense.
Yeah, I mean, for me, more than anything, it's like people coming here and just gaming the system to get like $18 billion when they don't really want to do anything and don't like being here is a situation that's absurd. Like this should not even be like a political thing or like what party do you like? This should be a situation where anybody should be rather concerned about this. I mean,
yeah,
$18 billion disappearing and then just having these people take it because they just feel like taking it. Nobody says anything because it's not nice to say something is a very strange position to be in.
Yeah, I think the people that defend that democratic, I think they just think the government magically has infinite amount of money and they can still get the money they want for their stuff, and we can still afford $500 billion in fraud.
I will say this, that it doesn't, if it turned out that it wasn't like this community but it was a different community, and I don't care what community, even if it was people that you said they all have green skin and they took $18 billion and they don't want to do anything and they hate the USA, I'd say the same thing. If it was a group of white people that came from like a country from far away, but they came here and they hate the US and they stole $18 billion, I would say the same thing. Basically, if you don't want to be here and you just want to take all this money, then I don't really know what to say. It's not even, I'm not saying that even like smaller amounts would be acceptable, but the amount of what's going on there is so over the top. Like,
yeah, it's insane.
I think we were talking about it. You start thinking to yourself, man, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing here on the Night Owl? Like, I could be opening up a daycare center.
Yeah.
Like, I could have opened up a daycare center and then grabbed like $3 million. What am I even doing here? You know what I mean? Especially everybody loves it, and like if you say something like if people get offended, like you're supposed, like that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to take $3 million. And what am I doing here?
I have a little breaking news. The Victoria Jones, the 34-year-old daughter of Tommy Lee Jones, was found dead in a San Francisco hotel today.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but what happened to her?
They don't have any. I'm looking for the details. That is really sad.
It is very sad. I like Tommy Lee Jones. Robnut Scoobla 8594. It's been so long since I watched Knight Rider. Sorry I couldn't show up for the stream, guys. Saw another stream at the time. Just got back from the Stark party. Don't even know what that means.
Is that a Game of Thrones reference?
Have no idea. But in any case, nice to see you here.
Yeah, they haven't released the cause of death, but it has all the hallmarks, allegedly, of overdose.
I see. It's strange. We have also, in Rob Reiner's case, it was worse because the son killed, him. But I'm just saying that a lot of these big names, they have kids that end up going in these paths. I mean, I guess it could happen to people that are not popular, but I tend to think that sometimes these kids, between growing up into a situation where maybe there's a lot of money and Hollywood stuff around them, and just, maybe it's a combination. It's the setting that they were born in, plus something maybe about their personality I don't want to personally blame the parents and upbringing because I don't really know, but I do know that these are very, eh, I don't know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say, but
Yeah, they also released Ace Frehley's cause of death. We talked about him, but it looks like he fell and it created a brain bleed, and
well,
that's what
I think that they said that a while, like that's what
Oh,
people thought was. I mean, I don't think that was a secret. I think people kind of figured that that's what had happened to him.
yeah,
But
he'd had a lot of health problems, so yeah, we covered that with the rock and roll lifestyle.
you guys don't know Stark of Iron? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, he's a YouTuber. I didn't catch the direct reference. I was modding the chat there for a second.
He must be like he could be the greatest ever, but I've just never heard of him. Uh, hold on one second. I see some super chats that I didn't notice until now.
Yeah, I was getting to those.
Okay, so I wanna highlight them and go over them.
Yeah, I think the first one is $10 from the dead man.
Wait, let me share the thing. Let me. Sorry, guys, for not seeing it sooner. We were
Oh
talking about
yeah.
Webster. There were some important things going on here, like Webster.
Oh, you got a Nerd Wars one before that even. So
Oh, okay.
$5
So
from
yeah, here we go. Nerd Wars, congrats on your Stranger Things video hitting 50K. Let's freaking go. I was very pleased with it. Yes, I guess some people enjoy that review, and I'm always happy when people enjoy a review I did. So people liked it. I'm happy too. Thank you, Erwin. Erwin's a friend of the channel, and I like what he does on his channel. And sometimes I hang out there. Today I couldn't make it, but sometimes on Thursdays I hang out with him. And thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Then we have the Deadman 79 999. Here's how I would end Stranger Things. Bum calls into Robin, and the bum tells, "I want to dedicate the song to Will from Jane." Then off air, Robin gets the address of 11. I'm a bit confused, but I think I understand. When we get to the Stranger Things, I'll address it more. But he was trying to make, I guess, see the way Stranger Things ended. It's sort of ambiguous what the fate of 11 is, and I guess that the dead man would have preferred that they actually learn where she's physically at, so that they don't leave it so ambiguous. I guess. I think that's what the dead man was trying to say. Dead man is also a friend of the channel. He has on his own channel. He talks about Star Trek and stuff. You should check that out. Seabrew 1138. Welcome to Leapers. Thank you for joining and becoming a member. I do things, and that's another $2. I do things. I give money to a price. Well, thank you very much. It's very, very nice of you, and we appreciate everybody here. And yeah, and just even with what Nerd Wars were saying, I post videos. I try not to think too much. If somebody enjoys a video, I'm always happy. But I think with YouTube, you never know. You could have a video that people really enjoy, and the next video you upload, people may not enjoy as much. So I try not to, I try not to get too excited when one thing happens and not too frustrated when another thing happens. I just kind of do what I do and hope that people will enjoy it. That's all you can really do. And if there's people that enjoy at least to an extent my videos on the on the review channel or these live streams, which we always appreciate people hanging out with us, then I'm always grateful. That's all I can be. But I do appreciate the kind words in the super chat, of course. I'm just saying that I'm not letting it go to my head.
um yeah, dude, your video, it was really entertaining and funny, and it's everybody on the planet is talking about Stranger Things, and you released it timely, so good job, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, I did my best. I was actually working on another one to do for the finale, and today there was so much going on that I couldn't wrap that up. I'm gonna try to post that tomorrow, but yeah, like I said, I'm always grateful, but I don't take it for granted because YouTube is a strange, it has a strange way of operating. And one day, if a lot of people like your video, it's not a guarantee for anything else. You have to keep working at it and hoping that people will like what you do. Sometimes there have been videos that I've done that I thought to myself, "Man, this is it. I did so great here," and then like I see like 1,000 or 2,000 people watch it, which is also I'm grateful. Don't think that that's like I don't even take that for granted. Even if it's between 1,000 to 2,000 people watched it, I'm very grateful. Uh, but I'm saying that then there could be one. I posted a video the other day that I didn't even think much of. Like I was thinking of putting it on this channel as like a bonus review. It had to do with Daisy Ridley and her zombie movie, and I posted it. And I thought to myself, like right when I posted it, I said, "Oh man, you're gonna get like 100 views. Like nobody is gonna watch this video." Like I regretted it the second I clicked post, and then suddenly I saw that like 10,000 people watched it. And I'm like, man, the 10,000 people watched it. I was surprised. Like, I don't know. I don't know if people enjoyed my review or what they thought of it, but a few people watched it. So you really never know.
That's a good run. Do you remember when I posted a video? I got 55,000, and then the next one got like 7.
That happened. Listen, that has happened to me before. I actually like I had a video that was around or close like to 100,000. This was already like a year or two ago, whenever it was. I posted and I was so excited. I'm like, well, maybe the next one. Nope.
Yeah.
That one was very exciting, but the next one I posted was I was really like I don't even know if it like cracked 1,000. You know what I mean? I was really just hoping that it does well. And yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs. You could be like on in a period that there's like more things going on. There could be another period, and that's why, because that there's all these things that can change all the time, including just platform changes, all these different things. I don't want to. Not that every time that something happens, like it becomes like the biggest thing. I know a guy, and I'm not going to mention who it is. No, I probably shouldn't say it.
Okay.
But I'm tempted to, so now I don't know if to say it or not.
I was going to say, remember Raising Arizona? YouTube can be a barren, rocky place where my videos could find no purchase.
I was going to say it's a fickle bitch, but yeah. Sorry,
No,
Sean.
what I was going to say is that I've run into a few YouTubers that suddenly have a video like that does well, and immediately, like, the success goes to their head after, like, 1 second, and they're, like, walking around. I mean, the success can go to your head if you have, like, 1 million subscribers and you're really generating, like, a high amount of views for every video now because you've just become such a big brand. But if suddenly, like, you're sort of in whatever league that, like, we're in, and you got a video that suddenly had, like, more viewers than usual, for that person to kind of let the success go to their head is kind of silly, in my opinion.
I've seen that even in our little circle, our community.
I've seen it before, and that's why I always, and again, I appreciate the kind words from Erwin, and he's coming from a good place, and he's being a supportive friend, and I totally appreciate it. But I'm just saying that regardless of this specific situation, I generally I myself don't say, "Oh, look, I had a video, I did this, I did that." Like none of that matters. You know what I mean? Nothing matters. I'm always happy, like if somebody says something positive, but it doesn't. It's not. Every day you get up, like it's a new day, and you have to like do stuff again, and hope that stuff that you do is going to be good. So subscribe, like a few extra subscribers, a few extra views, it's always nice, but it's not like a long-term strategy. It's not that suddenly that happens and like everything changes overnight. And I will say this, just to sum this up, that I will say this, early on, he probably may not even remember this, but early on when I started posting videos, I don't remember the exact situation, but Gary Nerdrotic did actually say something to me about consistency. That if you do it if you're consistent in what you do all the time, then maybe you have a shot at doing this. But it's a lot of work, and he really like put an emphasis on the consistency to me. And I think he's also said it on streams before. And I did actually listen to what he said, and I understand like being putting in the time and effort and the work is important. I mean, that's also not a guarantee. You could put in the time and effort and do all this stuff and people just won't care. That happens too. There have been videos that I do and people, like I said, I was so excited. I felt I put in a lot of work and it happened to be a video that people didn't like. Can happen.
Yeah, as somebody who's been 3 months trying to get my first video out and it's still going, I can attest, man, it is a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
I already really hate my voice. I don't like.
Holiday season affects YouTube views. I don't know if it affects it in a good way or a bad way, but I hope it's a good way, but who knows? In any case, I want to thank all the people for the super chats. Erwin with the $5, who's also a channel member. And that Erwin from Nerd Wars, of course. The Dead Man 79 with his $9.99, and we'll get back to that. The Dead Man. We talk about Stranger Things, which will be shortly, and then we have. Somebody gave some memberships here.
Yeah, Mary White. Thank you, Mary.
Sebrew1138, and now I want to see what Mary did. Yeah, I see it. I'm just trying to highlight it and bring it up here. How's it going, Sean? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to draw the next comic page.
I have this urge to sing Mary's such an awesome gal. She buys so many memberships.
No, I would be more like, Mary, Mary, where you going to? Because there's a song like that. She must know it. I have a sore throat. One more Mary can I do? Na 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 na, that a clear thinking man would do. I think the Monkees sang that.
I feel like every time I show up on this stream, the Monkees come up.
Maybe.
There are worse things to happen than that.
I just wish my voice, like I had like a sore throat. Maybe I've been talking for a few hours now. So basically, Mary, oh wow, 20. I thought it was 5, and now I'm looking, it's 20. Mary, it's very, very kind of you. And you gave other super chats today. It's very, very nice of you.
Yeah, I don't know how old Mary is, but there's so many awesome songs. There's Proud Mary and The Wind Cries Mary from Hendrix.
Keep on turning. Proud Mary, keep on turning.
Mary Had a Little Lamb by Stevie Ray.
Hey.
Mary White, you deserve it, Price.
Yeah, I definitely have to say Proud Mary and The Wind Cries Mary are probably my 2 favorite Mary songs.
The Real Headcase says you're a great singer, bro. That's because he's heard stuff like, the outros or whatever, things that I sing. Like, I think that based on me having a sore throat now, that probably isn't a good description, but I do appreciate it. And I did my best. I mean, it's barely acceptable, but it's not, I prefer when I have like a voice that's not sore. But let me just look quickly at all the people that she gave memberships to. There's so many. So there's Tomahawk 511, Michael Sarcher, Matthew McGee, Peter Robel, Carl Voigtlander, One Dirty Bird, Glade Riven, X Flavius X, Deeple, Poker Ace, Jeff Wyatt, Willem Killian, Anthony Parkinson, Rogelio Cerratos, Jillian of the H, Lisa, Superior Nav, Man in Hades, Phaser 1X, Woodrow Gottshine, and then I think I got them all. And yeah, the Fracture said, Price sings better than I do, even with a sore voice. I appreciate that. So, what was I going to say? That, what's interesting is that usually those memberships are given to people that may be watching or may watch and don't actually participate in the chat. It's interesting because that was a way for me to know who watches and doesn't say anything, which I have no issue with, but it's still nice. Then we have Phantom. Somebody else gave here on the Rumble side. I think somebody gave something.
Let's see. Yes. Citizen 42.
Citizen 42. Okay.
He gifted 5 Price of Reason subscriptions on the Rumble side. Thank you very much.
Okay. So let me quickly highlight that because that is very, very nice, and I appreciate that very much. Let me try to showcase this. Thank you everybody for the support. I
Um,
always say this, I don't bother people, but it doesn't mean that I'm not greatly appreciative if somebody gives something, but I never try to do the thing. I always tell you I don't want to be, or I tell the professor that I don't want to be like PBS. Like I have trauma from
Mm,
PBS. I grew up watching that channel, and every second they'd ask for
mhm.
money, and then like
yeah.
since then, I've always wanted to be not like them.
The pledge drives,
But
were
even when it's not pledge
brutal.
drives, like
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
watch a show and they start like in the middle, they have like a 20-minute commercial break that they're like telling you to give them money. It's like, guys, just
Yep.
let me watch the show. If you're going to sit here and talk about money for 20 minutes, well, I'm going to watch this shit. Citizen 42 gifted 5 subscriptions to Price of Reason. Phantom Monk received one. Fractured 01 got one. Pure Blood Based Berserker was gifted. Double R Star was gifted. And then there's one other one.
Red
Uh,
and a blue state.
Red in a Blue State was gifted. So thank you so much. Thank you, Citizen 42. This was very kind of you. Give us your best NPR voice. I don't know. I don't even know.
Hello. Welcome to
You only have to be
NPR.
subscribed to get a gifted membership. I see. So maybe it's people
Yeah.
that dislike me and never want to hear me. But some of these names I recognize. So some of them I know I've seen here before, even in streams. There were a few that I didn't know, but yeah, I don't know who subscribes, who doesn't subscribe, and I am very grateful regardless.
The secret to doing an NPR voice is to have somewhat of a monotone and always remember to have very low energy. You do
All
not
right.
want to get your listeners overly excited.
I'll do my best.
I do want to give a shout out. I feel like I've been streaming for 72 hours straight over the holidays, and X Flavius X has like been there every time, keeping me company, man. I just want to thank you for sticking around.
Who's been
Thank
here?
X Flavius X. Like
Oh, okay, yeah.
on all the streams I've been doing in the past 3 or 4 days, he's always out there in the chat, and I just appreciate it, man. I
Awesome,
know
yeah.
he's not there for me. I'm just saying I have noticed and recognized your consistent attendance.
Price's voice is straight up AI. That's what Six says.
Yeah.
You know, it really is weird. Like there was once that, Six I thought that she knew that it was really my voice, and even she once asked me, "Do you put some weird filter even when you're talking live? Is there something that changes your voice?" No, this is really my voice. I mean, I don't know if it's a good voice or not, but this is what it is. Like I can't change it. And then in my videos, almost every video that I post, you have somebody that says like AI slop, and man, does that annoy me. Like it's usually some of the only ones that I answer, and I'm just like, I narrated it myself. I wrote it. I edited it. What part of it is AI slop? And like, there's one guy recently like answered. He's like, "Oh, because it sounds like AI." I'm like, "It doesn't. It's not AI. And I don't think it sounds like AI either."
No, they usually have like standard voices that they put
Yeah,
on over
no,
everything.
your voice. I said it's very mellifluous and smooth, and people, it's somewhat, unique. You don't really hear a
I
lot of
sound
people
enough
talking
like a
like.
douche that an AI wouldn't sound like. An AI would be like, "Hello, I want to do the thing, and let me tell you something. This is actually the best thing that ever happened." Like it's that annoying thing. You could tell when it's the AI.
Oh, I watched this World War II video. It was like 20 minutes long. Everything was going great, and then the airplane entered a strafing run, and I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, it's fucking AI. There's always that one word that they don't get right.
I was just gonna mention that. Yeah, they always say something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is that I guess that a few times, but that's very rare. There have been a few times where people thought that I was AI because of that. There was that one case with the Bob Dylan movie, and until today it annoys me so much because I think people don't appreciate you watch a movie, you're trying to get your review out there, you have to like, you're writing some notes, you're doing your narration, you're editing. All of this takes work. So you do all of this and you put it up, and then you have somebody there was an artist called Guthrie. something Woody Guthrie. I don't know what his name was, and
Arlo Guthrie or Woody? Woody
it
is
was
son.
Woody Guthrie.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm in a hurry. I have to like do stuff. I'm narrating, I'm doing things. And I guess maybe when I wrote the thing, I wrote a typo. And I guess I was reading it and I said something like Woody Guthrie. And it's like once in the whole like 10-minute review, I said that. And all the rest is all like, on point. Everything is fine. And like there were people that wrote like, I can't take your review seriously. You couldn't even say Woody Guthrie. That was real comments in my thing. Like, how could I even like listen to one word you say when you got Woody Guthrie's name wrong? It's like, dude, what the fuck do you want from me? Like, it's not that I sit around listening to Woody Guthrie all day. And yeah, I was a late hour, and I guess I said Guthrie instead of Guthrie. That can happen. That's also not proof that it's AI. That doesn't mean anything. You could make a mistake. This was like such a minor mistake. Also, the AI wouldn't make that mistake. Like, the AI would read whatever the thing is. Like, saying Guthrie instead of Guthrie was actually showed that I'm not AI.
Yeah. But I understand it can be insulting after you put in all that work, but I just try to look at it as a compliment. Like, you sound so good, your voice can't be real,
It's because your voice sounds different live than on your review channel. Not necessarily. I'll tell you why. Because initially, back in the day, what I would do is that I would actually pitch the voice up a bit. I mean, initially, if you watch my very, very early videos, it's a high-pitched voice because it was supposed to be a funny character that goes around kind of like, imagine a type of insult the
Triumph,
the insult comic
insult dog, or whatever it is. Triumph the insult dog, is that what his name?
Yeah, you're the insult comic squid.
Right. So it was something like insult, like more like a geeky, like, insults squid thing. And that's what it was supposed to be. And I thought that when I did it, that it would be funny if it was like a high pitched voice and like it was a certain kind of character. But when I eventually started doing reviews, I felt that wasn't like what I was doing anymore. So I gradually started like changing it to sound more like my voice and like, I over time, I basically shifted away from that. And if you watch like in the past year or so, I think that in my videos, I sound like myself.
Yeah,
but I haven't noticed because I listen to everything at like 2 times speed, so you're still high pitched to me.
Well, plus you get a lot more bandwidth for audio on the recorded videos than you do on the live streams. So,
right. I mean, I don't know. The only thing I can say is that obviously on a stream that's more like scripted, it's not so much us like shooting the breeze like now. I'm just more, there's a rhythm. I have to talk faster and I have to really deliver it, and there's the editing and all that stuff. But I still will say that right now the voice isn't different. It's maybe the speed in which I talk or whatever it is, but the voice is now should be the same when you're watching a video or the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sean, can you show us what you're drawing?
What are you drawing, Sean? Yeah, show us. Sean has his own comics, and I always say this, that what I appreciate about Sean, never asked anybody for anything. He just makes his own comics and releases them. He never like, never asked anybody for anything. And the fact that he does this on his own, I really appreciate that.
It's really rough. It's just a chick riding basically an alien chicken. and she's trying to stop it real quick.
It's pretty good to me.
It's really rough.
Well, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but that's awesome. Like you're doing real artwork there, and so I mad respect.
Says, I don't like your voice on your videos. Why? I mean, I sound like I do now. What's so different about the voice there? I don't really get it.
Because Six's job is to give YouTubers shit. That's why.
I see. Well, if that's the case, then it's fine. Yeah. But why? I think I sound fine in my videos. I do the same thing that I do here. I just do it there. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Dude, that looks fantastic.
Oh, thanks. I'll probably have to redraw it. I've never drawn this animal from this angle before, so.
Looked pretty good to me. And, yeah, Sean does good work. And like I said, he has his own comic and all that. 6, I don't know what she means. Why the voice on my videos is the same voice? So strange. 6 is trolling? Okay.
Yeah, I've seen her she gives Culture Casino a hard time. I think he's terrified of her. Like,
well, in any case, I like 6 very much, and I always enjoy hearing her input. Even if she is trolling me, I don't know if she is or she isn't, but it is what it is. In any case, how did we get here, guys? I don't even know. So I think that we have Stranger Things. Stranger Things.
Yeah. Wow.
Finale. Did anybody watch this except for me?
I tried, man. I've watched like the first 15 minutes of 8 episodes, and it's like pulling teeth, man.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll go over it. So basically, this whole season 5, I think that never really, took off in the right way. While watching season 5, I feel like season 4 should have been the season that they ended. Wherever we got the last episode of season 4, I think that they should have added another like 20, 30 minutes there, wrapped up just everything and finished the show. And I think that would have been a better outcome, because somehow season 5, it in many ways it exposes all the problems that this show has. Let me see for a second.
I really have no interest in watching it, and I watched all the other seasons.
Yeah, all the kids
keeps saying it's terrible.
The kids look like senior citizens to me whenever I start watching it, man. It's just,
yeah.
Let's see seasons. Let's see you all. What did people give season 5? I'm trying to see what the grade is on Rotten Tomatoes, what they would give it.
It's been the lowest rated episodes of the entire show, and I guess the one that came out Christmas was the lowest rated one ever. It's only like 52 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Let me see for a second. I didn't know if they do every episode. I see. Let me try to share this. So basically, they are giving it, the critics gave it an 85% and the audience gave it a 56%. And yeah, I can understand why. I think that I think that there were a lot of issues with all 3 volumes or all 8 episodes or whatever you want. And I've said this before. The Duffer Brothers did not have a plan going into this show. And this is the biggest problem of the show and the biggest problem they've ever had. They had one season, which they had the idea, they had the writing, they had whatever it was, and they wanted to do a mini series called, they wanted to call it Montauk, because it was supposed to take place in, New York, not in Indiana or whatever it is. It had children, it had this story, and that's what they wanted to do. And Netflix said to them, we'll take it on one condition. We need it to be a show, or at least the possibility of having it as a show in case it does well. If you had to do 5 seasons of this, could you do it? And they said what most people would say in their position. They said, sure, of course we could. 5 seasons, no problem. We'll give you 5 seasons tomorrow. So they said, great. So they filmed this show, which I don't think that anybody had very high expectations from initially. People can tell you whatever they want, but I do not believe that anybody, not the Duffer Brothers, not Netflix, I don't believe that anybody thought that this thing would be this type of hit, that years later would still be kind of in the picture. I don't think that any of them thought that. And keep in mind that initially the show, it was targeted for, it was supposed to be kind of like Stephen King's It, meaning there are children there, but it's supposed to be spooky and scary and not necessarily a children's show. It was something that adults were supposed to watch and feel nostalgic about. That was the main idea of the show. And the first season, it got that adult audience to watch it. But what happened is that children were watching it too. And then families were watching it. Doesn't matter that there was spooky stuff, not spooky stuff. But what happened is that once it became successful, and as successful as it was, well, now if children are watching it, then they have to be careful what they show on this show. It's no longer some
Mhm.
spooky thing for adult. Now it's like, well, what do we do with the children? And then you also have the executives that walk in and say, well, we did some focus groups. Why isn't there another woman here? And that's why they added Max. Now, I think that Sadie Sink is actually a good actor. She's probably one of the better actresses in the cast. I don't dislike her, but I will say that like she was very much shoehorned into that second season because they're like, you gotta put another girl in here. You know, we
Mhm.
did some studies, we did some focus groups. We need another girl, so they're like, okay, we'll add her. And they're like, what about this? What about that? Season three, what? Like season three. Nobody talks about this. Robin, Maya Hawke was supposed to be a love interest for Steve. That is the reason they brought her and what she was supposed to be. Somehow, and I don't know at what point this happened, they did a switcheroo and decided that she's actually going to be like a lesbian or whatever it is, and it's going to be like a bait and switch. You think that Steve's going to go with her, and then suddenly she's like, "No, I don't even like men. I like women."
That
That
was
was
the
not supposed to be
worst
the
writing.
case. What'd you say?
That was the worst writing in
Worst
that.
writing, and it wasn't supposed to be that way. You can already tell that this is like studio meddling, it's like executive meddling, activist meddling, all this weird shit that doesn't need to be there. Meanwhile, in season 2 and 3, they don't want to kill characters. The children are watching. They want to make it more friendly on one hand, and then they want to do the like the more social justice. So many things just piled up on this show, and in the meantime, also season 2 and 3 really exposed that the Duffer Brothers didn't know what they were doing. They're like, hey, what about the Mind Flayer? What about this? What about that? Just like adding a bunch of shit. They did the Russians, not the Russians. They didn't even know what to do with it, and somehow after season 3, which was really not a good season, I think that season 4 was one of the only times I've seen people like course correct. I think that season 4 was a good season. It required some retconning to introduce Vecna and make him part of like El's history, but I thought there was something interesting there. And I think that season 5 should have had another maybe episode to wrap up the entire story, and they could have gone out on top. Instead, season 4, first of all, they it's I think that the success once again went to their head, and they thought to themselves, well, we can do whatever we want now. But season 5 exposed them again, that maybe they somehow fixed some problems for season 4. They didn't seem fixed in season 5.
Yeah,
And
I
they
think
made a.
they
Sorry,
I'm
go
sorry.
on.
No,
No,
I
go on.
think they got lucky on season 4. It still felt contrived and tacked on, and it just didn't feel organic, but they kind of got lucky, and they didn't get lucky for season 5, and I think they had other priorities. Like I mentioned in the chat, at least half the kids got killed in Welcome to Derry. I didn't think it was that great either, but there were actual stakes in that show.
I think I said in. I think I actually commented on your video, Price, where I had to like pause the video to take a minute because there were so many freaking characters, and no, and, like it just seemed like too much. And then you're like, you and other people are like, nobody dies in this show, and I'm like, I would be wiping these characters out if this is like my final season and final shows. Like, there's way too many
Well,
characters that are not dying.
yeah, Netflix won't let them. They need all the spinoffs. They're going to try to make
Oh,
4 or
really?
5 freaking spinoffs.
Then they also need you to be able to walk into Target and see product to buy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and this final season, just like if basically season 4 they somehow got away with, maybe like you said, Phobos, but instead of ending it and taking the win, they needed that extra season for all the money and all the Netflix and whatever. But I really don't think that they did anything better than 4. Season 5 can compete with like 2 and 3, which is the worst season. You know what I mean? Like maybe it can compete with like season 3. I don't remember which one is worse now, 2 or 3, but it can compete with one of those over like who's worse. It's not going to compete with 1 or 4, and
Which one
there.
was the one that had her finding like the team of X-Men or whatever?
That
Because I
that
feel
one I
like
think
that
was in
was the
second
worst.
season.
Really, that wasn't like
They
third.
brought back the one of those characters from that second season
Uh-uh.
that they brought her back for the 5th season. No, this season in general, and I've covered like part 1 and 2, and especially in the finale. In the finale, you can really tell what a mess they've made because there's so many characters and it's so unnecessary. And I think that the moment that I felt that they really, really, exposed how stupid their decisions were was there was this moment that you have like, I'm sorry, there's going to be spoilers here. If you didn't watch it, I apologize. But You know what? I won't fully spoil. There's a moment where there's something bad, and Joyce, played by Winona Ryder, suddenly steps up and does something very kind of decisive. And under some circumstances, I would say it was like, if it wasn't her, I would have even said it was like a girl boss moment. But the truth is that I don't think it was a girl boss moment, because actually, out of all the characters, with proper writing, I think that moment would have been very fitting for Joyce and Winona Ryder to do it. The problem is because there were like 70 characters, instead of showing screen time with like Winona Ryder's character going through some process and really building up to something like this, where she does it, when once she does what she does, it comes out of left field because nobody bothered to write anything. They're just like, well, why don't we give her a moment when she looks like she's doing something cool, and everybody will know like she did it. And yeah, it is cool and it's nice that she did it, but if you're not going to write a way to build up to it, then it's like you didn't earn it. You know what I mean? And not for nothing, and I've said this from the beginning of season 5, Winona Ryder, basically when this show was launched, people may not remember this, part of the reason why a show like this even gets made, even like Netflix and all that stuff, is Winona Ryder was pretty early attached to this show. And when this show started, Winona Ryder is the first name in the cast. She was the only name that anybody knew who she was. You know what I mean? And in that early seasons, her frantic search for her son is really like, plays a very important role in that. And I think that in other seasons she was important as well, as sort of this like mother figure that cares about her children. And I feel like in this season, she barely had any lines. You'd see her, once an episode just telling her son, yes, yes, you're great. And that's it. Like she says like 3 sentences and you don't see her for the rest of the episode. Such a waste. Such a waste. Like, I would have preferred seeing more of Winona Ryder than like Robin, like Maya Hawke's character. I really don't understand why we had to see so much of Robin in these episodes. Like, yeah, she's fine, but she's not like, she's not a main character. She wasn't here from the beginning, and there's nothing really that the story benefited from her being there all the time. It's like there were enough kids doing whatever they did. You didn't need her as well. So they spent time showing a bunch of shit, and then at the end, when like the big character moment came from Winona Ryder, it just seemed like so kind of out of left field. And that was one of the big moments that I knew that they how much they fucked up. Sorry, Sean. And other things, it's like because initially they had like the Mind Flayer and they had the Demogorgons and they had like Vecna, they tried to somehow find a way to tie all of these things together, but it seemed so flimsy the way they tied it. It seemed like like they themselves like are bullshitting us. You could tell it's almost like a kid that like didn't really have time to do his homework, and they just like he writes some shit and gives it to the teacher last minute. Sorry, Sean. I don't know if you've ever done that before, Sean. Like you could write something and you just hand it in.
Oh no, I'm a perfect student all my life.
So that's what this show felt like. It felt like people that were not prepared and just like conjured up some crap and put it in there. And it's annoying because they certainly had enough time. There's no excuses. Season 4, I think, came out like in 2021 or something. They had 4 years to do something that's not
Yeah.
shit. Meanwhile, these kids aged, they look like they're 100, and,
Yeah.
and like they couldn't even get the story right. And I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just and also like there's also kind of a chickening, like I don't know, to say chickening out or cop out or whatever you want to call it, where they don't want to kill the kids, they don't want to kill this, they don't want to kill that, all the kids are watching, it's families watching it. So the nature of a show went from like these kind of spooky cool kind of throwback to these kind of it and poltergeist and things like that in season 1. So we end up with like the kumbaya gang of like social justice or whatever, so much like weird shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's disappointing. Now, I will say this: even in the finale, it's not that every single thing about it I hated. There were brief moments I'm like, I kind of like this, or this could have been a good idea. But at every turn, I felt like the writing wasn't strong enough. They didn't build it strongly enough throughout the season, and they kind of seemed to phone this season in. It's like they collected all their checks and did whatever, and just put it out there. Also, even that whole thing with Will, and the him, coming out and all that. in this next episode, I said to myself, please just leave that thing alone. And nope, like it wasn't like a big deal, and like it was in the previous episode, but there was a scene that they ended up talking about it again, and I'm like, guys, just shut up about this already. It also it doesn't represent what would happen in the 80s. You know,
Oh,
I
not
understand.
even close.
I understand. You know, somebody that commented on my video, on my review, commented something like, "What?" Like, first of all, I actually had a number of people that wrote that they were, you know, an LG person, and they felt that they overdid it in the show, and they didn't need that. Meaning, I got like a number of comments saying like, I am supposedly the target audience for that, and I thought it was too much. So that was some of the comments I got. There was one comment that somebody wrote, "Well, I am that," and for me, it was like a really important to see that in a thing, like, you know, those kind of things. I like being seen or whatever it is. And it's like, yeah, but let's be honest, this is supposed to be a period piece. In the First of all, I don't even know that in 2025 a guy would round up like 20 people, some of them that he barely even knows their names, and like tell them what, you know, about his, like, you know,
Yeah.
private life. I don't really see that happening even in 2025. It doesn't make sense. But in 1987 or whenever this is, no fucking way. Sorry, Sean, again. I'm here. I'm happy you're here that I can say sorry to you. Nobody would do that. Nobody would do that in like 1987. In 1987, uh, you know, maybe some people would be understanding. Maybe if it was more like a one-on-one with your friend that you're telling them, or, you know, more logically, if he would have just grabbed Joyce, which again, they didn't even give, like, you know, Winona Ryder the proper screen time. Maybe a situation like that he tells his mom, and his mom, like, you know, there steps in and like comforts him or something like that. Maybe you could have gotten away with it somehow, that it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. But the thing where it's almost like an intervention, except for instead of people stopping him from doing narcotics, he's telling them that he's, you know, you understand.
Yeah. May I make an observation?
Sure.
When the writers have no idea what to do, they just start packing it full of more and more characters. It's the Marvel method. It's the cameo after cameo, and these guys really didn't have a direction, so they just kept adding characters, which means the new
And they
you
never
have no
killed anybody. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
listen, this is a show that was initially started as like an adult horror kind of thriller type of thing. If you have all these seasons, you keep adding these characters, and also, I hate to say this, but like adding characters that don't even need to be there. Meaning,
yeah, yeah,
for me, it was obvious. I'll give you a few obvious things. The the first one was they put in, so you can also tell like how the world became more woke. First of all, in season 2, they said we need another girl here. They brought Sadie Sink. Again, I actually like Sadie Sink. I'll say that. I think she's a good actress. I don't dislike her. But I'm still saying that the reason she appeared in season 2 was not necessarily because somebody like said, "Oh man, we got this great idea like that's really important to the story." It was more that like the network said, "Why is there only one girl there? Why isn't there another girl?" And then they added her. Then in season 3, and you can do like the woke meter. Season 3, they said, "Oh, we have this other one. She's going to be a love interest for Steve." Love interest for Steve? Do you have an LG person in this show yet? And they're like, "No." Well, like, you know, why not? So they're like, okay, well, this lady that was supposed to be the love interest for Steve, initially they probably brought her in because Jonathan was now with Nancy. So if Jonathan was going to be with Nancy, giving Steve a love interest of his own and having them be two couples seemed like a better way to go about it than just to have the same stupid love triangle for 7 years. You know what I
Do
mean?
you do you remember in
yeah.
season 1 they had Barb and they killed her off? She was like the best friend of Nancy.
Yeah, yeah, because they
Yeah,
had no problem initially killing, like, you know, people that just for the story. You know what I mean?
yeah. I can just see an executive screaming, "It's a kid show now, for God's sake. We have to have an LGB person in here."
Right. I mean,
You know,
this is not something that we need to speculate about. This is absolutely what happened. They brought her in to try to even the thing out with the love triangle because Jonathan was now with Nancy. She was supposed to be his love interest, and nobody is saying why this happened. Suddenly they had to change it, and she was now the LG person. Now, it could have been that she was an LG person, and that ends the season, and that's it. And then they're like, nope, now we have to have her again. Now, I will say that, and then another thing happened. Lucas, I think that the younger sister of Lucas, they kind of made her a thing also because
Mhm.
probably somebody said, "Hey, why isn't there more diversity here? We need more women and diversity." And then somebody said, "Well, Lucas does have a little sister." And they're like, "Perfect. Great." Now, it's perfect and great. They don't know what to do with this character. And season 3 you could really tell. Between like the Robin LG thing and Lucas's little sister, you could tell that they're really now like, the how do the lunatics have taken control of the asylum, or what I don't know what I'm looking to say, but I think that at that point, the Duffer Brothers were heavily influenced by like these kind of board meetings and focus groups and all that, and that's why I think that season 3 really suffered for it. And then you had season 4. The one thing I'll give season 4 with the Duffer Brothers is that they managed to like take all the things that they had to work with, all these characters, which maybe at this point Netflix told them you can't kill anybody. So they said, okay. They added Eddie, which basically was the best character in maybe in this entire show
Mhm.
in years, and they
Yeah.
ended up killing him in that same season because he was the least diverse and least LG, least
Yeah,
LG, if you know what I'm
kill
saying.
the straight white kid. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
like heroic straight white kid. That's it. He's gone. Like
At
that
least they
would
made him heroic, though.
Yeah, he had like the
Rather,
best scene with that guitar on the trailer.
yeah, rather than making him a useless idiot like all the other male characters.
I mean, basically, I would have any day of the week, I would have traded you. Like if you would have said like Robin and Lucas's little sister, they go, but instead we got like more Eddie. Eddie, like 100% was a better character.
Yeah,
So
clearly,
yeah,
because they're selling merchandise at Target for the Hellfire Club or whatever, the shirts.
Yeah. Destiny Go, I wouldn't classify this as a kid show, but it is to them, which is why they need to put that sexuality
well,
element in. They went from spooky to bluey,
Well, this
essentially.
is the thing. Season 1 was not supposed to be a kids show, but then they saw how big it was, and it turned out that parents were watching it with their kids, so they started shifting it around how to push in the propaganda and also tone it down and make it so that like nobody dies. But the problem is that if nobody dies and you keep just adding characters for your like social justice, you're ruining the show because there's too many characters. They're not dying, and the story is stupid too. And they never even had a plan. So all of this together, season 4 was a miracle. And I was thinking about it. The only other time that I saw a show that did something like this was maybe Eastbound and Down. Did you ever watch Eastbound and Down?
Yeah, it was pretty funny, but the nature of the show made it easier to keep it going since it was
Well,
just a
the first season I thought was brilliant. The second season was all right. The third season was already kind of, in my opinion, a real dip in quality, especially like the second half of the season really was kind of going off the rails. And once I saw that third season, I said, man, I think this show is done. I don't think there's anything more it can do. And initially, it almost seemed like they announced that there wouldn't be any more. And it seemed like season 3 would be the end. And suddenly, in a kind of surprise announcement, they said we're doing a season 4, and it took maybe a year or two until that season 4 came along. They did a season 4 of Eastbound and Down where they said it was the final season and the final episodes ties up the show and everything. And let me tell you something, that fourth season was a real course correction. They looked at what they did, they realized what they had done that wasn't working, they fixed everything, did a great fourth season. It ended on a high note, and the show was over. That's smart. You know what I mean? That for me is smart. Stranger Things, even though it's not a comedy, it's like a different type of show. Stranger Things would have benefited from seeing that maybe fourth season they really put a lot into it and had some good ideas, wrap it up and finish it off. Like this season also, it really exposed like they try to make it seem like Vecna is part of like the Mind Flayer, but the Mind Flayer is part of Vecna. Like it's like they didn't even know what they wanted, and I still don't even understand where did the Demogorgons come from? What about this? What about that? It's just like it just all felt so half-assed. So many stupid retcons and dumb shit.
yeah,
Sorry, Sean.
yeah. At least Eastbound and Down had the sense to put boobs in the show, which made it easier to get through some of those slower episodes. But
By the way, Bluey is not actually what most people think it is. It looks like some stupid blue creature, but I don't really know because, like, I'm a man and I'm old, so or not like a kid.
Yeah.
Old is a relative thing. I mean, I'm
No,
older, I guess.
Bluey is a great show. I watch it with the grandkids. It's an animated show about a family of blue healers in Australia, and it's actually a very good show that grown-ups can watch. It'll keep your interest. It's kind of funny. It's very warm, has a lot of heart. I was using it as exaggeration. They went from a spooky adult show to essentially something where they used to not inoculate, to bring the message to kids, to indoctrinate children into the message.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Anyhow, I don't know. I never watched that Bluey thing. There's no incentive for me to watch that little shit, whatever that is.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
you see a lot of that stuff in Target too. No, I mean obviously, but I have a lot of little ones in my extended family, and it's one of the more fun things to watch all together.
And
It,
yet,
it, it still has traditional values. It's pretty touching.
And Price is the one that still. It sounds like an old man though. I never watched that Bluey
Yeah.
thing.
Get off my
good
lawn.
shit. Yeah. What was I gonna say? That I'm trying to think. Where was I? So yeah, I'm trying to think what else annoyed me about it. There's another thing. The finale promised us this big, like, final battle. And you know what? I felt it was kind of anticlimactic and too short. And in the final, maybe like 40 minutes of the show, it's a lot of like epilogue of like stuff, like characters where they're at, a lot of like characters talking about their feelings. Now, maybe some of that feeling stuff would have been appropriate if they really got me excited with the season prior. But because everything kind of felt so lackluster and messy and all over the place, by the time you reach to these kind of emotional moments, I don't. They felt kind of cheap to me. They kind of felt to me like they knew that audience, like there's enough kind of, I don't know if to say normies or, you know, I don't want to say anything bad about people, but sometimes, and I've said this before, sometimes when you have a good show that really needs really good writing and you don't have that, we talked about Landman and things like that. When you don't have that, you start like filling in things that are emotional. You just have people talking about their emotions because you think we're gonna connect to the emotions of the viewer, so even if the story's not there, at least there'll be emotions. And that's all, like a lot of times that's a mark where like that the show is in decline, when it went from being something like cool and interesting just to people talking about their feelings, like Landman season 2, in my opinion. Landman season 1 was interesting, it had some cool things in it. Season 2, too many people talking about their feelings. And yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you tell a guy, write eight episodes, write them quickly. And sometimes, I mean, Taylor Sheridan, I think that if he does have the time and space, is competent. But if you pressure him with like 5 shows at the same time, you'll get a lot of people talking about their feelings. Not the worst show, but that's going to happen. Whereas with like J.J. Abrams, you'll just get them talking about their feelings, or like Alex Kurtzman, just feelings. Like he doesn't have the faintest clue how to write anything Star Trek. All you get is a bunch of like weirdos talking about their feelings all day.
The clue how to write the faintest anything, man. That guy is he's one of the biggest examples of a douche failing upward that I could possibly think of.
Absolutely.
It's astonishing to me.
Absolutely. He is Alex Kurtzman, like there is nothing that Alex Kurtzman has done that I think is like even like halfway decent. He's such a and even like maybe there's something that he's ever done that probably there were like 5 other people there. Maybe he didn't ruin it. I don't even know if there is such a thing.
Well,
But
Roberto Orsi, he did the Kurtzman Orsi thing for a while. They did all the remakes of like Magnum PI and Hawaii Five-0 and stuff. They weren't really good, but they weren't as insulting.
Well, I'll tell
his
you
Star
why.
Trek
I'll tell.
stuff.
First of all, a lot of people think that Roberto Orsi, who passed away, unfortunately at a young age, they seem to think that he was probably the more talented out of the two of them, and they had a rift at some point. So you only got left with Kurtzman. I think that Orsi guy, I'm not necessarily saying that Orsi guy, everything he did was like spectacular, but I think like he was able to do things that were at least mildly serviceable. Like, and also the other thing is, the Hawaii Five-O show, it didn't have at stake what you have with like a Star Trek. With Star Trek, you really have to live and breathe that world. Like I've watched, The Next Generation. I've watched the original series. I've watched Deep Space Nine. I've watched Enterprise and just a bit of Voyager. And even if you told me now, hey, why don't you do like a Star Trek series now? I would be worried. I would be worried, and I'd say to myself, am I good enough at this that I could do it? Even with my how much I like those shows and how much I'm interested in. Probably I'm not saying that I'm the most knowledgeable, but probably there's people that I'm more knowledgeable than them. But I'm sure there's people that are way more knowledgeable than me, and I would be worried if you told me make a Star Trek show now. I'd be worried, but with Kurtzman, I guess what I'm saying is that Kurtzman doesn't have the tools or the capability to do it, but he's never worried.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like he never has
Yeah.
that responsibility of, man, I'm in over my head here. It's
Yeah.
obvious. I mean, how many failing shows can you do? How many pieces of shit can you release that everybody tells you that this is the biggest piece of shit and that you're an idiot and you don't know how to do anything? How many times can you go through that and still pretend that like everything is great? This guy
Yeah.
is like Alex Kurtzman is the most delusional dum dum, on the face of the earth, and the disgrace here is how much money this guy has been paid like throughout
Oh,
all these
yeah.
years just to
Hundreds of
ruin it.
millions of dollars. Why is it when there's a creative duo and they break up, we always get stuck with the least talented one, like Neil Druckmann's another Kurtzman. We never get
Yeah.
the good one.
Never. And so with Hawaii Five-O, it's more of a police procedural. They cast some pretty good people in that. I thought that the guy Alex O'Loughlin and Scott Kahn, I thought they were pretty good in their roles. And it was, you know, it was one of those shows that you could just put on in the background and not really think too much. And there's some crime, and they're walking around with some guns and arresting somebody. If you're into kind of, or even have patience for that, it's the kind of show that I don't mind putting on late at night. Not recently, but I'm saying it's the kind of show like I'm tired, I put it on. It's something kind of in the background. It's not demanding too much of me. I think that Hawaii Five-O was serviceable enough. At least the earlier seasons, I thought that they were decently done. The Magnum PI thing, that really didn't work for me.
Oh God, no. God, no.
That one I couldn't get behind. Like I could somehow let the Hawaii Five-O one slide, but the Magnum PI one, like I that didn't work for me.
Yeah,
Not only
as
that,
silly as Hawaii Five-O, extremely silly everywhere from that's not how real police departments function to the ridiculous, military and high tech and spy stuff and political corruption BS. But there was less to ruin. Magnum was a much more beloved show that people loved, and they really insulted a lot of the fans with what they did.
yeah, absolutely. And it's unfortunate. I think with Magnum they made it that like Higgins is a woman and then he has an affair with her. That's just like weird shit. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like it was too much. I don't like what they did there. It was dumb and stupid, and I couldn't get into it. The original Magnum I like. Tom Selleck as Magnum. The real Higgins. I liked all of that. This new Magnum, I don't know, not for me. Same thing with the new MacGyver, which I think is also these people somehow are connected to. Um, the original MacGyver is MacGyver. Like I tried watching the new MacGyver, I watched it. I did not believe that guy's MacGyver at all. Like I really, really suffered watching like an episode or two of that, and I'm like, I'm out. This is not MacGyver. If for some reason they would have brought back Richard Dean Anderson, which maybe they tried to do, that would play like the father MacGyver to this MacGyver, maybe like I could have let it slide if at least he was there and he's also MacGyver. But this young guy, I don't believe he's MacGyver. I don't buy him. Don't buy it until today that he's MacGyver.
Yeah, no, the Quantum Leap one is also very terrible. I think we need to throw out Damon Lindelof too as one of the worst failing upward writers in Hollywood. He's right on par with Kurtzman.
Yeah. Didn't recently I think Damon Lindelof said like, "Oh, if you do this, I'm never going to write again," and everybody's like,
Like,
"Good." I
yeah,
don't even
your
remember what
terms
that
are
was about. He was like threatening not to write. We're like, dude, don't make threats that you can't keep. Like,
Your terms are acceptable, sir.
right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like I'm never gonna write again. Great. Like, can we have that in writing?
Yeah. Did you see the Somali guy? It made an angry TikTok. If you deport a single Somalian, everyone from Africa will leave with me in solidarity. And people
Right, and
like,
everybody was like,
yeah,
great,
man,
like,
that
your
works.
terms are
Go ahead.
acceptable.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
sure.
funny. That was silly. I agree, Price. They went down avenues of the Magnum remake that were really, really lame and stupid. It just, Richard Dean Anderson doesn't act anymore after his accident. I didn't know he had an accident.
Some of these shows I
Yeah.
completely forgotten that they actually remade.
Yep, and MacGyver did have a kid that got introduced about the second to last episode. Wasn't the kid Jason Priestley from 90210? Didn't it end up that his kid was Brandon?
Yeah, I think it was, but
Can you check? I haven't watched it in like 20 years, but let me see.
It was
Jason
so little
Priestley.
there.
Jason Priestley. That's his name, right? And then MacGyver. Let's see. Was Jason Priestley on MacGyver? And then it says, yes, he was as Danny. Was that the name of the character?
Let's see. I was
Danny MacGyver.
Let's see. MacGyver's son.
No, his son was Sean Angus Malloy. MacGyver.
Sorry. So what? But Jason Priestley was on MacGyver.
Oh, yeah. No. Wait. This is it says from the original TV show, Richard Dean Anderson, Sean Angus Malloy, MacGyver's son. It's an AI summary, so it could be wrong.
Hold on.
I would say, who was Danny in MacGyver?
Maybe he was somebody else. Maybe he wasn't. Okay, let's do this. Who played?
Oh, it was MacGyver's friend. He was an insurance investigator. Danny Barrett, MacGyver's friend, and it's showing a picture. That's Jason Priestley. Yeah, so he.
Okay. So MacGyver had a son named Sean Angus Malloy, who appeared in the series finale and was played by Dalton James.
And his nickname was Sam.
Yeah, and Danny Barrett, young man involved, blood brothers, portrayed by the future 90210 star.
All right. Well, sometimes things get jumbled. I guess I remembered that Jason Priestley was on it, but I just didn't remember that he wasn't his son. In any case, they didn't follow up this idea that he had a son, which I think they should have, for making this stupid show.
Yeah, but the writing would have been bad anyway. They didn't have the right people. That's the thing.
No, it was shitty anyways.
Yeah, deck chairs on the Titanic. Have you been to? I wanted to talk about something.
Big 12 says MacGyver was my favorite Irish show since Father Ted. Okay, what were you going to say, Estefobos?
Well, let me know when we're moving to the next topic. I wanted to ask you about something, but I don't want to derail anything we're talking about now.
No, let's see. There anything else with Stranger Things? I guess just to sum it up, if I had to say how bad it is, I think that the Game of Thrones finale was worse than the Stranger Things finale. If it's not much of a bar, but I don't think that it was as much of a disaster as like Game of Thrones, but it was a letdown nevertheless, meaning it was disappointing and it was a letdown, but Game of Thrones, like, you watched it and thought like worse thoughts than watching Stranger Things.
Yeah, but also Game of Thrones had many years of exquisite, solid seasons of fantastic TV.
Right. That's really what annoyed people, that it felt like they built so much, like, and then just kind of took a dump. Whereas with Stranger Things, it was uneven and they already made a lot of mistakes and then they just, couldn't correct them.
They had farther to fall, but I think in a vacuum, I still think Game of Thrones may be better. It's just, it fell from a much greater height.
I see. Well, what did you want to talk about, Estefobos?
So you've been to Amsterdam, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Yeah. Have you ever been to the Vondelpark? It's
Uh,
a 150-year-old church. It kind of Notre Dame-esque. It's a really beautiful building. It used to be a church. When I was there, it was still a church, but it sort of became an event venue.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I struggle to remember exactly what it was going on in
Yeah.
Amsterdam.
I mean, it's a no, it's a gorgeous Gothic building. It would be like their version of Notre Dame in Amsterdam. They are very historic, very big tourist
You know,
attraction.
I did do some stuff there. I did walk around and do some stuff. It was certainly an experience, and it has
Yeah.
been many years. You know what I mean?
Well, some teenage thugs burned it down on New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, just in fact there was a lot of they say unexplained or inexplicable crime and violence in Amsterdam on New Year's Eve, and I'm thinking I don't think it's inexplicable. I just think you're not willing to explain it.
So, what you're saying sounds very serious, but while you were talking, I remembered of a good memory I had from Amsterdam.
Oh, do
So,
tell.
I was in kind of a I don't know, you saying that it's a hotel is very generous. It felt like, more of like a at best, a motel, you know what I mean? It didn't feel like
Yeah.
wasn't like the
Okay.
fanciest place in town. I was also, you
Yeah.
know, was rather, more youthful, so at the time, I guess,
Yeah.
going
Bet
to
better than a hostel, less than a hotel. Is that what you're saying?
something like that,
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
struggling to think of the word hostel, and all I was getting was
yeah, no,
brothel.
it wasn't a hostel, but I wouldn't say it was a hotel. It was like, it was exactly you described it well. So in the lobby, there was a Pac-Man machine, and as a kid, I played Pac-Man. So when I was young, so I like stood at the machine, and I don't really know why this has never happened to me before. Like how sometimes in the movies you see somebody playing like an arcade game, and there's people around them watching their game.
Yeah.
I think maybe just in Amsterdam, due to the nature of the place, and people in their state of mind, suddenly there were just people standing around and watching me play Pac-Man, and I gave like the best Pac-Man game of my entire career. Okay, like clearing every level, like everything was just going great. It was like it was almost like the perfect game. And as I was like clearing levels, at some point, like I was already like doing stuff, like I suddenly heard and looked and with like people like clapping. Never happened to me before. Like this is the first time. I think this is the first time anybody ever clapped for me in general. But like me playing Pac-Man and like clearing a level and people are like and like I'm in Amsterdam. It's all like it feels very European. There's like people like clapping. I mean, I assume that they were probably like stoned out of their mind, but they
And you're
seemed
like
very pleased. People were very excited about what was going on with that Pac-Man in the lobby.
you're
So
like the pinball
Yeah.
wizard of Pac-Man.
We can add Pac-Man Fever to the ever-growing catalog of lore.
right, but the thing is that I think that if you let me play today, I'm not saying that every time I'm going to even have a game like that. I mean, I'm okay at it. I'm decent, but it's like I really feel like I was sort of riding this wave. I don't know how to explain it. Like everything was just working well for me that day.
Chemically, you mean? Or
Yeah,
okay.
Angelo DD says sounds like Price was in the zone. Amsterdam has that influence. I have
Yeah,
never been more in the zone in Pac-Man than I was at that moment. That was the best. It's not I'm never gonna be, like, better than that. There's that and, you know, when I was a kid, do you remember the Donkey Kong Game& and Watch?
oh
The
yeah, yeah.
So Donkey Kong Game& and Watch, I remember I again, like, had this when I was really, really young, and maybe, like, 4 years old or something. 5 years old, I would say. And I was the master of that Game& and Watch. Like, I was so good that I would finish, like I would reach such a high score that it would have to go back to 0. Seriously.
No, no,
Like,
yeah, I believe it.
so, there weren't enough digits anymore to contain the wonderful scores that I was doing, so it would go back to 0, but the thing is that the catch is it would go back to 0, but it becomes, like, so much faster So you have to keep doing like over and over again. The speed in which I played once like it went above the 0, it's like I don't even know if today if you gave it to me if I could do that. You know what I mean? Like it was so those are like my great memories.
So I had the national record for armor attack. They kept the arcade open for 13 hours after closing time, because I was still playing a game, and I had the record, I don't know, for a week or two maybe. But
Wow.
I think
Real celebrities that we have here on the Night Owl.
yeah, I started playing it in the middle of the day. You know, the place closed at 9. I'm still going strong. I was playing. It was a 2-player. I was with another guy, and they kept it open. It was 1 hour, 2 hours. Like I was starting to really have to pee. Like, yeah. But I mean, I think, played for almost 20 hours. I have no idea what the numeric score was, but it was a vector graphics game. It went up really high. That was my brief moment of, arcade glory.
I see.
The best I've got is I used to be able to beat the Star Wars trilogy arcade game all the way through with $1.
Oh, the expensive one where they had the
not the pod. I've still have not played the pod.
Okay.
But it was like in the late 90s where you had a joystick and there were like lightsaber levels and piloting levels and stuff.
Yeah. So the last one, you're flying in the trench and you're hitting the little guns in the trench, and they shoot asterisks at you. And
that's the Atari one. This one was like late 90s, so the graphics were much better.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I must have been thinking about the original one. I mean, it was a vector graphics game too. But remember, I'm older than you guys, so
it's all good.
So yeah, what was there anything else that you wanted to say about this?
I just wanted to tip my hat to a national landmark that should still be standing, and I whenever I was very upset when Notre Dame burned down. Whenever anything really historical or art is destroyed that can never be replaced, I usually take that pretty seriously. Very it's very sad. So I wanted to mention that. I don't really know. I know there were, Europe had a rough New Year's. I know that much, but I didn't really get very far into the specific news items.
So this thing, the Efteling, when I was in Amsterdam, I was supposed to go to this, and every day I woke up and I was there with some people, and we said we have to go to this place, but somehow it just our schedule wouldn't allow it.
Hard to get rolling in the morning, huh?
I really wanted to go there. Like, I'm curious until this day what happened there. Even like the last day where like we had a flight we needed to catch. Like, I still got up and said, "Hey, like, don't we need to go to this thing?" And I don't know. Like, it was difficult to get things moving.
Yeah, I do want to tell Sean. They do have brothels there too, so don't feel bad about not remembering the other word.
Oh, I know.
What you mean in Amsterdam?
Yeah, he said he was trying to think of the word hostel, and the only thing that kept coming up was brothel.
No, they have their like the red light district, but listen, I would never judge anybody. People can do whatever is good for them. Just me personally, there's something about that scene that it doesn't speak to me personally.
Yeah, it's literal red lights. You can't. We walked through it because didn't partake, but they have women standing in front of windows like shopping mannequins. It's very bizarre, and it's not very. I find it very sterile and not conducive to that sort of. It was kind of horrible actually, but we did walk around for quite a while, just taking it in.
Wait, Six says I once played hopscotch for 7 hours on an August afternoon.
That's very funny. I read that earlier.
So, yeah, In any case, so what I was going to say to you is that I faced like a similar situation. We were walking, and you walk by that thing. For me, this is just my personal opinion, and I'm not criticizing anybody that may feel differently. But you walk on that street, and there's ladies, like, instead of mannequins, there's like a lady standing in a window.
Yes.
Like, if you're interested in that lady, I guess you go into the thing. But man, there's something about it that feels like really
Um,
sleazy. Is that the word I'm looking for?
well, here's the thing. How happy can you be putting yourself on display in a window and all you get is this really, deep red lighting? Like you're just standing there. I don't know how long you're supposed to just
You're just standing there with
yeah,
some red light and like,
yeah,
and
for in
it's
your eyes for hours on end
so
until
weird. It's so weird. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe it's a cultural thing. I guess they thought it was great. Like, the people in Amsterdam, they love it. I'm not, I'm not here to, like I said, maybe some people that's their thing, and I'm not trying to say that what people should do or
Yeah.
shouldn't do. I just thought it kind of seemed awkward.
Yeah,
In
it's
my
the
humble
least
opinion.
sexy thing I've ever seen in that. Like going to a club, people are dancing, they're having a good time, they're laughing. That's you meet somebody, you hit it off. It's but yes, a woman standing in a window under deep red lights that you kind of hurt your eyes. Not sexy, man. Not at all.
We're definitely earning that night owl title tonight.
Sean didn't know we would end up talking about the red light district in Amsterdam. And that's following my wonderful display in Pac-Man.
Oh, oh,
But,
Caleb Levine has an interesting fact there. We've got some Caleb lore.
I'm in the Guinness Book of Records for being part of the longest baseball game in 2023, 100 hours long here in Kansas City. True story.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. We do have we do have a super chat.
Oh, did I miss one? Let's see.
Okay,
Is it on Rumble or YouTube?
let me see for a second. I think it's on YouTube. So we have a guy called Alex and Urton. Alexander. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Alexander Tan. Sorry, I saw it as Alex and Urton, but no, it's Alexander Tan. 1267199. Happy New Year! Happy New Year to you too. Thanks for your show. Thanks for your show for Insomniac Lurker. Thank you. Yeah, there are people that lurk. I do believe that there must be people that listen to it and don't say anything. But
oh,
that's
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
I honestly, there are streams that once in a while I'll listen to, and I probably won't write a comment at all. Like I don't know. I don't always feel if it's people that like I'm friendly with and I know them and it's something that they're talking about. Maybe in that case I'll do it. But sometimes there's a stream and I don't feel like commenting. I've been through that many times, so totally get it.
Yeah, Erwin was here earlier. I watch his stream all the time. I rarely comment because there's so many people, and I can't even keep up with anything. So I just
Six
listen.
says that was sent 2 hours ago. Well, I'm sorry. I wish somebody would have said it to me earlier.
Yeah, why don't you say something, Six?
Yeah, and
You're always busting my balls. You could have said that there was a thing.
I switched over to the fan funding tab and I lost my list of names too in the chat. I'm like, oh, dope.
Anyhow, thank you, Alexander Tan1267, who's also a channel member. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate your lurking, and hopefully you're still lurking and you'll still see me talk about this thing. That would be great.
Yeah, this is looking a little better. I'm still gonna have to fix the feet.
Wait, let me stop the sharing so we could see it properly.
Oh, that's awesome. I love the
Yeah, it's
alien
good
chicken.
stuff, Sean.
Very heavy metal-esque.
Yeah, Tarna.
I usually don't get to listen live. Yeah, there's some people that listen after the fact. I know that too. But I'm always late and gay, yeah, I guess. I'm always No, 6, I wasn't saying it in a bad way, I didn't mean anything bad, I was
Yeah.
just saying that, considering that you usually like to point out things that I do that are dumb, if you saw that there was a super chat, you could have said it, but it's okay.
Yeah,
It's
if
still it's
anybody
my fault, it's not your fault, it's my fault.
Yeah, if anybody feels like you missed a super chat, just put it in the regular chat. We read the regular chat. It's just switch it. I just must have missed it switching between but I missed the super chat, but if you just bring it up in a regular chat, probably catch it, know to go back and look. So
So, also on big streams, there's no point typing a message unless it's a super chat, like on Drink or Neurotic. So chat scrolls past in second. Yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
Yeah, again, if it's people that are my friends, that like I'm cool with them, and people that I hang out with, and like I'm more friendly with them and have that kind of personal thing. And yes, maybe one that doesn't have a million people watching it, then I feel better. I'll drop a comment or something like
Yeah.
that. But there's enough cases where I just won't say anything. So
And
uh,
yeah, can I point out 100-hour
that's
baseball
Mary's
game?
job.
That's 4 straight days of a single game. No sleep. I'm assuming you can use the toilet, but 100 hours. That's that's crazy. Who won, Caleb? Who won? That's a lot of extra innings. And how many innings did it go to? I guess I could look that up on Guinness.
By the way, maybe I should share the link for Sean's comics.
Yep, 4 days is a cricket game. Like that's true. It's a cricket match.
Shop. So I'm going to share a link now, and if you see these two things, it says number 3 smacked in the head by Sean Crummell, number 3 smacked in the head. You can scroll, and there's other smacked in the head. Smacked in the head is his comics. So I'm going to put that here, and you guys should. Oh wait, let me do Rumble and YouTube all. Hopefully it works. I don't know. I tried it.
Caleb says they played in shifts.
So yeah, you should check out what he does. His comics are smacked in the head, and it's by Sean Crummell. There's already a few issues. So yeah,
We're trying to get 4 out soon.
And like I said, it's like he does it in such a kind of low key way and just does his own thing that I hope that people will discover it and check out what he's doing.
Me too. Thank you.
Caleb, did your team win?
I don't know where he is.
Probably went to bed.
Oh no, he's still there. He said they played in 4-hour shifts.
Oh,
so he
I
had
the 12 to 4 shift. That was AM and PM. Interesting. I never heard of somebody attempting to do that, but yeah. In any case, I used to play cricket when I was younger. I once played cricket. I don't know why I played it, but I remember playing it once many years ago. I feel like when I was a kid, people could convince me to do things that later would be off the table. Like I played baseball. I don't know why. I don't think I was very good at it. I played soccer. Probably wasn't good at that. Played basketball. Probably played that better than soccer and baseball, but still probably wasn't good. The only thing I remember, I don't know, I have no explanation why. When I was a kid, I was once at a camp where they had like archery, and for some reason I was good at archery. Like nobody could believe it, including myself. Like it was a huge surprise.
I did a lot of archery too, starting in the Boy Scouts when I was I think I was a Cub Scout too. So I've been doing it a while. That was very fun, and
but the truth is that this is already like decades. It's now like if you give me like a bow and arrow, I don't know what to do with them. Like but whatever happened then, probably I can't recreate that. Like that and Pac-Man, I think I can't recapture the moment.
Yeah, well, 40 years ago, I was a mountain climber too. I don't know what I would do, dragging my old bones up the side of a mountain.
The only thing I was pretty decent at, I think, is that I would I can play piano and guitar. I can play bass, although probably the other 2 things I play better than bass, but I can play bass and sing. Uh, Again, I don't know that none of these things I probably can't do now, but at least that, like, there was at least a time that I was considered okay at that, so at least there's that. Anyhow, I don't know how we got here.
Oh.
What is it? What did I miss something? What else is going on? What was on our docket? What are we talking about
Uh,
today?
Actually, all you had on the docket was Elon and Stranger Things. It was a very tiny docket today.
Oh, what else? That's funny. I would think that there would have been something else that I had to talk about. Maybe it was a new year. Trying to think. Are there any movies coming out this weekend? I looked and I felt like there was nothing new.
No, I mean, I will tell you this. You know, Avatar is really not doing so good, but the media is really covering and hard coping for it. But right now, it's about in line with the first Avatar movie, except that was 2009 when tickets were $7.20 each, and now tickets are $18. So that
Let
means
me put it
less than
this way.
half the people who saw the first Avatar are going to see this one.
Let me put it this way. The first movie made like 2 point something billion. The second one also made like 2 billion, whatever it is. It was a stretch to think that another one of these is going to make that kind of money, and I don't think it will. But with all that being said, if I'm not mistaken, this movie cost like $400 million to make. So as long as it makes at least $1 billion at the box office, it's not going to be a money loser. And with
Yeah, yeah,
streaming and the collection and the whatever, it's not going to be a loser. It's just not going to be the big win that people wanted. Maybe Disney or whatever it is. Uh, if it can make over a billion, if it makes like 1.2, 1.3, still a win for them. Still
yeah,
a
yeah.
win. Like, say what you want, and I saw the movie and it was kind of like crappy and like I didn't really enjoy it and all that. But listen, it's an unenjoyable movie that already in a short amount of time made $859 million.
Yeah.
Complete rehash of the previous two. There's nothing original or interesting in this thing. Even in those, there weren't. But this, with even in the context of this stupid franchise, it's even less interesting and still sitting at 859 million. By the time this holiday season, like this thing ends and this weekend and whatever, it's already going to be like at $1 billion. This is going to end in the plus. Yes, compared to the second and third, like first and second one, it's not going to be that great, but nobody's going to be sitting here with like a handkerchief. Like this probably is performing better than 90% of the crap that Disney put out this year.
Well,
This is
it's better
performing
because
much
they've been
better.
strangleholding it.
Captain Falcon America cost $500 million to make and lost hundreds of millions of dollars. This cost $400 million, is not going to lose a penny.
Well, I told you they had like restrictions on passes and stuff, right? Like theater employees couldn't even go see it the first 2 weeks with
Which one?
and the Avatar one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You couldn't use your passes to go see it within the first 2 weeks, and then there was also them releasing a new Marvel trailer like each week to try and get people to go back and buy tickets just to see the trailers again. Or
I did want to ask you a question, and I talked about it last time I was on the stream here. David, I actually saw this at my theater, and I was surprised. The theater was full. There were people of different ages, different backgrounds, and I said, I don't live in some red state, so the fact that my theater was full, I saw parents with kids, I saw like older people. People were here to watch this movie, and I'm wondering, since you're knowledgeable, how is this movie performing? Like when you see, where you're at in your area, is this? Do you think this movie is performing well?
I'm I'm consistently surprised by the amount of people that come in to see biblically themed movies. Actually,
So, when you're working, your job, do you see that there's, people going to see this movie specifically, or you just haven't been paying attention?
yeah, they're showing up for this one. It's been
Oh,
between this and Avatar, but I think Avatar is only doing well because the holidays and they're
Well,
not much out.
Avatar is a big brand name. This is
yeah.
more of a niche. This is Angel Studios. I was saying in my previous review, in my previous video, they initially gave me a screener to watch it, but two things. A, I kind of wanted to watch it on the big screen, and
Mhm.
I didn't get a chance. I think that the screener, when it was active, I didn't get a chance. I ended up going to the theater to watch it, and I was, I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was
Yeah.
the story of David is a very kind of positive story, and I think that they presented it in a good way, in a way that's mindful that they're showing this to family and children. Obviously, in the Bible, there's things that happen that are, you know, darker than what you would see in a movie like this. But I
Mhm.
do feel like the important beats and the spirit of what makes this story good, and a timeless story, and such you know, a story that I said that, the Bible, you may, however you feel about the Bible, it's withstood the test of time.
Yeah.
It's and these stories, it's not just about, oh, like you should believe this and you should believe that. These stories are intelligent. I think that in many cases it teaches people to kind of, do the right thing, and to do good and do things like that. And I think that this story, just in general, even in the Bible, it has a lot of that, but the way that they presented it on screen here, I thought was good. And I saw that people were really, really into it. Like even when I sat in the crowd and watched it, and when the credits came up, people seemed really happy. I even think I heard
Mhm.
maybe,
Oh,
I dare say, maybe even some people clapping at the end. Like people seemed really happy with the movie, and I rather enjoyed it too.
you know who's not happy?
Who?
The media. They are bashing this movie. They're actually upset that it's the number 2 movie and it's approaching 60 million. They are claiming that the movie was artificially boosted by right-wing influencers. That
Mhm.
is a quote
That's so
from the
weird. I
trades.
don't understand what they want. I mean, first of
They
all,
they
first
want your religion to be erased. That's what they want.
all the people, that all these big studios have in their pockets, that keep saying, like, shilling for them and saying how great their movies are, it doesn't seem like anybody ever complains about them. We've been watching some of these big studios release movie after movie that we know they're bad. We know that they're not drawing the money. They cost a lot of money to make. They're not making the money back. People are disappointed with them. And anytime they see somebody that doesn't like their stuff, they call them, like, an istinophobe, and they call them terrible things. Meanwhile, a company that just did a wholesome biblical story, which, like I said, withstood the test of time, did it in a very respectful way, did it in a way that reminded me of old school Disney or Pixar or whatever you want to call it. I'm sure that if Disney did their thing with their, like, hundreds of millions of dollars, they could maybe do certain things that were more polished. But if Disney were in charge of it, it wouldn't have the heart. I think that the songs were decent. I thought that at the end, I liked the characters. I liked the vibe of the movie, and I didn't really have one opinion or another. I like the story of David, but it doesn't mean that somebody's going to do a good job, adapting it. And I really did think that this was good. The the last time I watched, like, an animated version of David was probably Superbook. Nobody knows what that is, probably, but
Um,
anybody know what Superbook is?
I have a vague memory, but I can't quite. I'm boomering on it. No,
So
do tell.
back in the day, some of those, I don't know if it was CBN, I don't know which channel had it. There was, like, in the 80s, there were two animated series. You had Superbook, that was like the Old Testament, and you had The Flying House, which was, the New Testament. I For some reason, it's not even that I'm a very, like, religious person or anything like that, but I enjoyed watching those shows as a kid for some reason, and yeah, I think that's the last time I saw, like, an animated David was on Superbook.
Yeah. I didn't even hear of this movie until it came out, and then I was like, oh, I actually like the character designs for once. I usually hate modern animated movie character designs and stuff, but
It's absolutely David from David and Goliath. Yes, King David,
Yes,
and
I. I have to say, when I was younger, I don't know. I possibly maybe even had a resentment against organized religion. I didn't really appreciate all the good things. It wasn't until I entered a very difficult time of my life where two things happened. I actually sort of found God myself, but also I was seriously helped My life was literally saved by people from the church, like helping me. So really opened my eyes. But as I was significantly older,
I
So
see.
when Superbook came out, I probably wouldn't have been all that interested in it.
I was just a kid watching, like, things after school and flipping through the channels. And I remember, I think that I watched more Superbook than I did Flying House. But I do remember what it was. Again, I haven't watched this in decades, but what I believe it was, Superbook and the Flying House were very similar. They both had a boy and a girl traveling through time with a robot and maybe a dog. But the funny thing is, it wasn't the same two boys, wasn't the same two girls, wasn't the same two robots, and it wasn't the same two dogs, but they all had it. Superbook, the idea was that they somehow okay, Superbook went through two different eras. The first, I think, I can't believe I'm saying this because nobody even knows what I'm talking about. The first season, I think they would just travel through time and go through the Bible or whatever it is, like the Old Testament, I think. And then they had something like in the second season, they had a lot of episodes that Superbook fell on a computer, and the computer merged with the Bible. And as it was merging with the Bible, it grabbed the kids, the robot, and the dog, I think, and transferred them into like ancient times where they're like jumping from time to time. They're just time traveling. They keep appearing in different places in the Bible. I mean, all things considered, I like time travel. It was fine, for a kid, for a little kid, it was an interesting thing. With with the flying house, it was something also. A girl, a kid, and a robot, and whatever. They find a professor who has a house. Probably today, none of this would happen. This sounds very fishy, but this professor, they go to his house, and it turns out the house itself is a time machine. Like he flies with it, and then like he flies, and I guess when he flies, he travels and meets Jesus or something. I don't know. Does anybody know what I'm talking about, or I'm just the wackiest person now
No,
talking about this weird shit?
you've lost me, but I'm riveted. So keep going.
Hold on one second.
I think maybe if I form another band, we're going to call ourselves Time Traveling Jesus.
Okay, let me see for a second. I'm going to try to figure this out. So, in any case, before we go on, I just want to say again, I thought that David was good. I enjoyed it, and it felt like free and clear of that annoying Disney stuff. There was no kind of meta cynicism. There was no kind of why don't we do it for modern audiences? Nothing. It just they knew what the story was. They did it, and I think that that's why people are going to see it. It's not because there's people right wing influencers or not influencers. I don't think it has anything to do with that. And I again am saying I do not live in a red state. I live in a place that are like, you'd think that if that was true, none of those people would be there. The place was full. People seem to be really into the movie. So make of that what you will. Let me see for a second. So, like biblical quantum leap. Let me see if I can find for a second Superbook. So just so you don't think I'm crazy, because you're probably thinking, what is this crap that he's talking about? Especially Sean thinking to
No,
himself.
I pulled up images. Is it anime like style?
Okay, what I'm seeing here is like I guess much like with the Transformers, I see that now they've made like new ones that look like better. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about the OG version, not this weird thing that I'm looking at. I'm sure the new one is fine, but I'm looking at the 1980s. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
The anticipation's killing me.
Okay, hold on one second.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oh, Mary
Uh,
remembers Superbook.
uh, hold
And
on one second. Tell some jokes.
yeah, Mary, it doesn't mean he's not crazy just because you remember Superbook. It just means he's not wrong about that.
I wish I can find the like. I don't know why this is like the not the right thing. Let's see for a second.
Only the best technology here at the Night Owl.
Okay, wait, maybe this. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, are you ready? This is the one I think that the computer. Are you watching?
Yep.
Tell me if this has sound.
Very loud.
Chris and Joy and everyone were having lots of fun. Superbook fell off a shelf. Look what they've done. When it hit the computer, all they were surprised. Superbook got programmed in, now it's computerized. Superbook, take a look. Superbook, Superbook, we've got to look.
It looks like Speed Racer.
There is a book that we all know, it's called Superbook. It shows us all the places that we want to go and look. Superbook. Superbook.
Yeah, the robot looks familiar. I probably went right past this to some other
Oh,
cartoon.
this is David the King.
Our
See?
story for today.
David the King.
As usual, our story begins at the house just down the street and around the corner. Let's
this
see what's
is,
happening today.
Can you do it, Chris? I'll try. There. You mean Ruffles disappeared there?
So basically, that was that, and the flying house was the other one. I admit that the flying house I saw less, but does anybody recognize this, or like I'm the weirdest kid that actually?
Well, it looks like Speed Racer. Is this a Japanese-made show? It definitely has that early anime look to it.
Listen, I think that it's funny because I think that I guess I don't know if it was the Christian Broadcast Network or whoever was doing this. They were pretty resourceful. They probably knew that if they needed to get this done, they needed to go to Asia to get like this kind of animation, and it was kind of clever. It ends up looking kind of interesting.
Looks like the same show.
So that's what I'm telling you, that they had the same show over and over again. Let me see. See if I can find this. Can you hear it?
We were having fun, playing hide and seek.
Completely different. It's not the same characters. It's just the same thing, but with different.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely a Japanese song, though. I can hear it.
When it started to rain, then we came upon a house. Should we go inside?
The house was like a time machine. And then they had their own robot, which is a different robot. I mean, relatively speaking, I like time travel, so it got my interest at least as a little kid.
Come on and go with us, Lord, who knows where. It's so fun to fly through time in the flying house. Oh, it's great to fly in a flying house. I just hope we'll get back home again.
I'm waiting for Chim Chim to pop out of the trunk.
So that was that. They are carbon copies. That's what I'm saying. They made the same show twice, and I don't even get it. I think that what happened is that they decided they wanted one for the Old Testament and one for the New Testament, and I think that they decided not to mix and match. Now, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I feel like maybe in the early first few episodes of Superbook, they actually were trying to cover both of them. But then I feel like somebody made a decision and said, no, we got to have two different shows. But how are we going to do it? We already thought of our concept. There's kids, they're traveling. So somebody said, well, we'll give them different names and pretend they're different kids.
The song though, it's like it's like the closing credits of every anime ever, like Subrashi Chin Chin Monokami ni Aru. Like
it does sound like
it.
It does, but you know what? It had its own charm.
We got Daru Kisa.
You know, during those times, I still appreciate that people did hand animation, and probably like this Christian broadcasting or whatever it is that did this thing. Like I said, they probably thought that they were saving money, and they're like, well, let's try to save money. We'll give it to like Japanese people to do it. But you know what? It's a huge win. Like they just don't realize. I don't think they realized what a win it was. And these days, I feel like they're trying to just do something more generic. When I look at the newer versions, to me, I still think that actually looks cooler than most of the stuff that they do now. But that's just my personal opinion.
No, it definitely does. None of this new computer stuff holds a candle to the real hand drawn. It's a compromise.
Yeah, there's something really like cool about people actually, doing the thing. And
yeah, I mean that's why Ghibli is so popular.
Well, 2D, I always had the argument that 2D animation is like classical music. It'll always be in style, where most modern music falls out of popular favor. So that would be your CG cartoons that look terrible over time.
Yep. So, anyhow, I guess Jason Webster, James Cameron is an avid marine explorer and co-designed the Deep Sea Challenger's submersible. He has directed several marine exploration documentaries. Says passionate about them as feature films. Yeah, that's cool that he likes it. The Real Headcase says, what is Sean drawing? Well, you'll have to ask Sean.
Yeah.
I can show it again.
Alien chicken.
Basically.
It's looking good.
Thanks. I'm getting tired, so...
I like the fact that your woman looks like a woman. Thank you, Sean.
Oh,
well, you're in luck, Sean, because we're very close to wrapping up. So
yeah.
So if that tickles your fancy, then we're probably going to be gone pretty soon. But yeah, just to sum it up, you're saying that right now, when you see like families and people going to the theater, you see people going into Avatar, and at least some of them going into David. And honestly, David doesn't have the kind of marketing budget or production budget or whatever that Avatar is. But I'll tell you this, it wouldn't surprise me if it turned out that until now, David is maybe more profitable than Avatar, if you think about it. I don't know how much it cost. I don't know how much it cost to make the David movie, but it couldn't
cost $60 million.
It cost $60 million?
Yeah, which seems a little high, but they're almost at 60 million now domestic. But there's a lot of pre-sales on that. So they're already into profit because the way Angel Studios does and markets stuff, they already have some international pre-sales. It'll sell onto streaming for probably 40 to 60 million. So they're doing absolutely fine.
It's a timeless story, and I feel like it's something that they're going to make their money on one way or another. One thing I'll say is this, and I say it a lot. I mean, 60 million is not nothing, and but we don't know the international numbers. I feel like this is a movie, if it expands more into international markets, this is a story that's universal, and I do feel like more people will go watch that. So I don't really know what's happening international and has potential. And it may cost maybe $60 million to make, but I suspect that Angel Studios isn't the kind of studio that's going to spend another $60 million on marketing.
Oh, no, not at all.
So their marketing is more quiet and more kind of grassroots. Between that, the international, the streaming, and their own platform, I think that it's gonna turn a profit, and it's also gonna be something that over the next few years, and maybe more than that, will interest people. People will continue to watch it because it's like it's a timeless story. So I trust. Usually, Angel Studios are pretty good when it comes to how they manage their funds, and I trust that this is ultimately going to be profitable for them one way or another. And I still think that there's a larger chance that they quickly turn or somehow turn a profit than something like Avatar, which costs so much money to make. Maybe with James Cameron's case, it's such a big brand, it'll cross the billion mark, it'll make a few hundred million extra, and they'll claim it as a huge win. But I respect movies that take like smaller budgets and try to work with
Oh,
that.
yeah, and don't forget an enormous chunk of the Avatar gross is coming from China, and they're not bringing home a fraction of the money that they do in other
Right, they don't
international
pay
and
a
domestic.
lot. That's
Yeah,
also a sham. So yeah.
yeah. So I'm not sure it's close to breaking even yet, depending upon
So
their
Blue
deal with China.
Pocahontas, yeah, it's nonsense. Dancing with Smurfs or whatever you
Yeah.
know they
I
called it.
try to guess what movies
Oh,
people are going to, and I'm with this movie, I'm usually surprised because I expect them to go to see Avatar, and they're going to David.
we got
I
a big super chat here from the Real Head Case just now.
and we got one
Thank you,
from
Real Head Case.
we got one also from Six. So
Oh yeah,
let
we
me
got a sticker.
okay, 1 second, and then I'll wrap up after that. Do you have the names of the people?
Yeah, I lost some of the earlier YouTubes when I went looking for that super chat, unfortunately, but I think I got most of them.
So we have Six who sent us a $1.49 sticker of an umbrella in the sand, I guess.
A beach, yeah, yeah.
Beach, yeah.
Mm.
Thanks, Six. Thank you very much. And then we have the real head case with $9.99. Thank you very much, the real head case. Buy energy friendlies. Buy energy friendlies. I don't understand it. What does it mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you're still around, the real head case, I'd love you to interpret what this means because I don't fully understand. Uh, buy energy friendlies. There was once a restaurant called Friendlies,
Yeah, I
and I
felt
ate
like that
ice
had
cream
something
there.
to do with China. I don't know why, but
They had good Sundays there, but I don't know if you meant something about Friendlies. But that's the way you spelled it made it seem like it's Friendlies, like the restaurant. But don't really know. I will say the real head case. I'm really thankful for your super chat, and I want to thank everybody that hung out with us here tonight. P- if you can say some shout outs, I don't really know where
yeah,
who.
yeah, I didn't get them all, and if we missed you, sorry. We're
Very sorry if we missed anybody, but we'll do our best now, and then let Sean
yeah.
go to sleep.
On the Rumble side, we have Fractured 01, Pure Blood Based Berserker, Elizabeth Quince, Phantom Monk, Angelo DD, Dot, Dickhead 12. Okay. Let's see. The real Sean Crummell. Yeah, I think we know the Dude Bro Seth 420. Always see him around here. Marty Schmoo. That's it. Marty Schmoo. Citizen 42. Mashed potatoes, spelled with a 3. And let's see. Elizabeth Miller 2. Yeah, we got Citizen 42. I think, let's see, I'm trying to do this by colors. I think that's about that wraps it up for the Rumble side here. I didn't see anybody coming in too much later here. So moving over to the YouTube side, we have Eck Thomason, Destiny Captain 247. Estefos, that's me. Stephanie Mack, Jason Webster, Tony Grigio. Let's see. Jim Noxious. Nerd Wars, that's Irwin. Rabnad Skubla.
Yes.
Good Scandinavian name there. Caleb Levine, Mars Monkey Max, Destiny Captain. I think I said that one already. Jason Webster, 9300. Sagacious 6, also known as 6. Zune RJ5. Very familiar names here. Thank you guys for all coming out tonight. Oh, Mary White, Deplorable One. I think that's Mary's alt account. We have see, did I get Jason Webster? Yeah, we have Sean Crummell again on this side. And let's see. The Real Head Case. Thank you for coming in there, buddy. Yeah, I'd love to know. I'd love to get a clarification on that super chat there. And I think that covers it for all the Inku123, who also noted that the show was definitely Japanese. And that about covers it on the YouTube side. I know I missed a few names. Did I get Marla? Yeah, I think we did.
Wait,
but
6 says I'm going live in 15 minutes on my channel. If anyone is interested, we're going to discuss the history and competitive nature of hopscotch. It sounds like a great stream.
Earlier, she was like, I'm going to read my Bible. Good night.
Well, now people know what Superbook is.
Yeah, I'm actually
Sean was legitimately stunned.
I'm gonna go check that out. I really am.
I feel like they've gained a new viewer with this stuff.
Yeah, well,
did we do all the Rumble people?
Yep. I got them. I think I got most of the Rumbles for sure.
If we missed anybody, we're sorry. We'll do better next time. In any case, it's been a pleasure. I hope everybody's having a happy new year, and everybody, I want to thank everybody for coming to this stream and hanging out with us, for all the people that support us. And I want to thank panelists here, both Sean and Istophobos, who stepped in here because the professor is traveling. And I always appreciate you helping us out, Ista. So thank you very much. And if you're on Rumble and you haven't yet liked the stream or followed us and all that, you should do that now. If you're watching through an app and you haven't signed up for Rumble yet, you should do it because you can sign up for free. Then you can follow us and you'll always be notified when we're doing these streams. So totally, you should do that right now. And then on YouTube, of course, if you're hanging out, if you suddenly landed on this channel and you're not sure how you got here, but you kind of enjoyed it anyways, you're welcome to like and subscribe as well, as we would appreciate that as well. And great seeing everybody here. Shelly Rose, I don't think I saw her before, but Marla Sharondoff is here. And Dude Bro Seth, cheers, and we'll be on our way. Are you ready to head out, Sean?
I want to wish everyone a happy new year too, except I think Kunchi Kitty, the woman pelted by rocks in Germany, maybe not having a great new year.
You can plug your own stuff, both of you guys, by the way.
Oh, just you come say hi to me on Twitter. I'm still working on getting my first video out. I have the same name. It's at Istophobos. And I know most of you guys from the other channels that we hang out at, but if you want to shoot me a message, just go to Twitter. And hopefully I will finish my first video. This is payback for giving other people a hard time that took forever to make their first video.
Cool. So do that, and we already we sent the link for Sean's thing, and yeah, Sean also has his YouTube channel, which I think that Mary White shared before, which is Sean Crummel Art. So you should check that out too. And I guess we'll be on our way. Bye.
Yes,
Have a good
indeed.
night.